Welcome to the True Crime Cult. Here is your host of the True Crime Cult.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, Swamp Rose, if you're still in chat, I'm dropping the link now for you to come up. And we're going to be joined tonight by A.R. Hayes and Pia of Strange Suspicion. There's the link for you, Swamp Rose. And this case is getting out of hand, guys. It really is. We're going to go over tonight some of the interviews from Steve G. And we've noticed a few things where he'll backtrack on a certain topic. Hey, Swamp Rose, click that link. Yes, Miss Rockshop.
Hey, Robert, how's it going?
Going okay. Hey, hey, Swamp Rose, how you doing?
Is she on mute? Hey,
Swamp Rose.
Hi, good evening, Rock and Robert. I hope we're doing good tonight.
Doing awesome,
Yeah, we're
love.
doing
You
good.
look beautiful.
Oh, sorry, I think I've got an echo.
I just wanted to jump up real quick, Robert. AR's running late.
Okay.
Just so you know, AR's on his way. Kiki, I'm going to be in the chat, enjoying the chat. And I didn't want Robert up here alone, and I wanted him to know that AR was on his way. I'm looking forward to the show.
Sounds great.
Pia said she's outside smoking a cigarette, and she'll be here as soon as she gets done. And there is Strange.
There we go, and hopefully the mods will drop all the channels. Pia, I'm going to be in the chat tonight.
Hey, Pia.
Hey.
All right, thank you, Rock.
You're welcome. Love you guys. I'll be in the chat.
Whoa. Kiki.
Hey, how you doing, Strange?
Good. Doing pretty good. Wow, there's a delay, kind of. Okay. Pretty good. How are you? Oh, I know why, because I'm on YouTube. There we go. Now it's not echoing. There we go. Every time I make that mistake, I don't know why.
Yeah, me and Rock, we were looking at this video the other night, and it's really very interesting, Pia. Steve G slips up a couple of times in the video.
What did he say? What do you mean?
Well, he went to say he said the white Hyundai Sonata, but he slipped up, and you could tell he was going to say Elantra, but it came out Sonata, and then he just backtracked and said the white car.
I thought he said cilantro.
Well, it sounded like either Sonata or Cilantro. I couldn't tell.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I can pull it up.
Okay.
And then that, like, right at the end of the video, it's really very interesting. He says there's still data being collected on more people.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would hope so, right? I don't know. I scared.
I'm going through my email right now because somebody actually emailed me about that. I didn't realize we were going to go right into the Sonata, the Sonata anomaly, but somebody did. Oh, here it is. Let's see. The Sonata, because there was a 2017 Sonata that was owned by Scott Cleary Jr.'s car in this case. So more conspiracy. Somebody emailed me that today. So anyway, that's the Sonata connection that is people have been talking about lately.
Maybe we need tinfoil hats for this.
Speculation.
Alleged.
Hey, yeah, just like you said in that one live, Kiki. Yeah, it's always good to help to help debunk theories and stuff like that. And it was that one that you did about drip drop. You said we need to work together and help debunk theories.
The worst thing you can do is not talk about something, because that's the whole point of the system we have of freedom of speech. Wow, what was that?
I am joined now live by Steve Goncalves. He is the father of.
Oh, I think he was fine in the video. I was like, what the hell?
Steve, thank you for being on. Tonight, just your reaction to getting this news. Was this a surprise, hearing that there's a date scheduled and it is December 28th?
Yeah, I was definitely I was surprised that we're at a moment in the case that we don't even have a trial date. You know, we've had a trial date for almost the vast majority of once they had a suspect. So we don't have a trial date, but we have a date to have, you know, largely the biggest piece of evidence being destroyed, which just seems backwards, you know.
So I would have expected that something this monumental would have been discussed behind the scenes, that your lawyer, Shannon Gray, would have been in conversations at least to give you guys, you know, enough time to process this. And it sounds like that's not the case. You didn't get much time, different than the time that we got in terms of this announcement.
No, and I kind of take this as from a perspective of that my opinion is not important as a parent. That's not it. What is important is the lead investigators at the county, state, and federal level, and it is to my knowledge that they are not in all agreement. And we tried to get them to all come in agreement and address, you know, come out with a formal statement. So if they can't all agree, I find it very hard for the parents to all agree. You know, we're all trying to get through this the best way we can. I want to be absolutely respectful to every single one of the parents. I understand that this has to go down, and I'm not going to fight it forever. And I want to be careful what I fight, because there's, you know, this is a losing battle. But
well, it's
you know,
it's a long battle as well, as we've come to understand. That brings me to the issue of Mrs. Chapin. Ethan Chapin's mom, Stacy, has given that statement to me, saying that, you know, we're okay with this at this point. We agree with the university. We think it's in the best interest of the kids who are there, including her two kids, and the community as a whole. What are your thoughts about that?
I totally respect it. I get it. I have leaked footage. I've seen things that they may have not seen. I know for a fact the path that this white salon, this car took, and people are going to wonder what he was doing when he parks in certain locations for extended amount of time. What was he looking at? I want to know what he was looking at, and I don't know how you can see what this man was looking at without the house being there. What windows was he peering into? Why did he pick that location to stop at? Why did he keep going back to these certain locations? And I don't know about the other 12 or 13 times that he was there. I just know of the day that this happened and the footage that was given to me. So I'm going to do what's best for my girl. I'm going to protect her. I'm going to weigh on the side of what's best for her, and making sure that I'm not going to let something slip through our hands that I could have said something. But I do understand it has to go.
I have this question for you, because up until now I hadn't really contemplated this, but do you think it's at all possible that the prosecution is so confident about their case, they're not worried at all about the house standing?
I've been told that exact thing. I've been told 100%. The amount of stuff we have, Steve, relax. You know, you're a very aggressive a father. Relax. But it's not in my character to just sit back and just know that an opportunity isn't being seized upon. And I couldn't live with myself. I couldn't live with myself if later on, you know, something happened and a jury member said, you know what, it really came down to the fact that I couldn't see firsthand. They told us the ideal jury member was someone who had thousands of acres and had no time to watch TV. He was out on the farm. Well, I don't feel like that kind of guy is going to see the footage that I seen and not want to understand what was going on in the house. And a computer program is going to mean nothing to that farmer. Almost zero value in a computer model to a farmer like that.
I want to dovetail off something you just said, and that is that they've told you that, Steve, the amount of stuff we have, relax. Are you referring to like victims advocates or people actually in the know of the case, that they have such a solid case that you should rest easy?
Because I've made myself vocal, people have reached out to me, and some of those people have just said that if what I know is accurate, Steve, there's a massive amount of information. This case will open up other investigators to know that.
What does he mean by that? This case will open up other investigators, Pia.
I would think that there's something involved in the case that is bigger than what we think. You know what I mean? Maybe it's the drugs, maybe it's human trafficking, maybe it's a frat member or somebody who's out of control and they gotta protect him due to wealth. It could be so many things. I don't think it's anything that we know about. I don't know what Kiki thinks, but I think, you know,
What do you think, Kiki?
it's bigger than us.
I don't know. I think everything Pia said, it could be completely true. When he says investigators, is he talking about other agencies?
Well, see,
Well, he must be. Yeah.
Yeah, if you hear him at this certain point, he said since he's been vocal, other people have come to him. Who's the other people?
It could be true crime people. I know that a lot of people intrude on, you know, victims' families and try to contact them. Some people try to knock on doors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people don't know the boundary that I feel should be taken between victims and true crime people. If they want to reach out, that's different. But I know a few true crime people have contacted Steve, and I know that he has also allegedly contacted true crime people. So that and the FBI. I know there's like 15 agents for every victim, and that's not normal. You know what I mean? Why would it take over 50 FBI agents if they have Brian Koberger and that's the only suspect?
Wow, that's interesting, Pia. Good point.
I
didn't know that ratio.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane. It makes no sense. Why? Like, if they figured it out.
There's a whole nother level of data being collected on people and other investigators.
Listen to what he says about the other data being collected.
To know that there's a whole nother level of data being collected on people, and some of that will come out in this case.
Thank you for watching. Go to NewsNation.
There's a whole other level of data being collected.
I just caught that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I would say I just caught that. That's he's talking about all of us. He's not just saying BK or
right. Yeah.
There's a whole nother level of things that they have on all of us, pretty much. That's what I took from that.
Right. Yeah, I take
either
that
either
too.
all of like, either all of us or other people possibly involved.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sure that, I don't know. I don't know. I was in the military for 8 years, and I don't know about taking over 4 young college students all by myself. You know what I mean? You would have to plan it out. And if you planned it out, you would have to have like a ride, or that's the other thing that I was talking to you about, Robert, was what if it was a frat person, or what if it was Emma walking through that path? Like, what if there's no car involved and we're all looking at the wrong stuff?
Well, Pia, you said something really interesting the other day about that, because if that's true, you know, it would explain why the car confusion, why they leaked this Linda Lane, distracting all of us. Like,
because they're tired of us, I think.
But it would be a reason if you leak all this footage confusing people about cars when it has nothing to do with cars. So just to back up your speculation there.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, like why would the public be privy to such information if it was pertinent to the case? You know what I mean? And the distance is like over a football field away for the audio. There's apartments right there. I mean, Ethan is not that uncommon a name. Xana is, but Ethan isn't. And kids mess around, they horse around. It could be anything, but I feel like the more time people are like not getting your personal time or your rest or proper sleep, like you're just staring at these things, like trying to figure it out so hard, you want to know so hard that you start to see things. And that's why I had Andy on the last part of my video explaining that like cameras are like trying to catch up with images. Like the weird part with Kaylee walking down the sidewalk, it's not necessarily tampered with. It's probably the fact that the low light was trying to pick up the image. So it can seem like there are things in an image that actually aren't. It's just the pixels trying to catch up depending on the quality of the camera, you know?
Yeah.
Because if somebody wanted to manipulate these things, it is 2024. You can do it without anybody knowing you did it. It's very untraceable if you know what you're doing.
Right.
But
Okay,
to manipulate.
AR Hayes says, I will join in a few minutes, trying to get home real quick.
Well, don't
So
get home real quick. Be safe.
Speed safe.
Yeah, speed safe.
I wanted to show you something. I don't know if you guys see them on the community tab yet, with the with the picture of the Queen Road Apartments and the trail going to Emma's house. Or
Yeah, it's
Emma's
right
parents'
behind,
house.
right? Isn't it right behind?
I put a map of it. Yeah, I put a map of it on my community. Just take the camera real quick. And I also have pictures of some like never before seen pictures of Kaylee and Maddie on there as well.
Like to take a look at those.
And this right here by Shannon Gray, attorney, and gave his number. This is for name of claimant Karen Laramie and or estate of Maddie Mogan. This is the brief for the lawsuit that they're filing.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
In compliance with Title 6, Chapter 9, Idaho Code, the undersigned hereby presents claim against the city of Moscow and any and all city agencies, political subdivision of the state of Idaho for damages arising out of the occurrence happened, below. And it says the dated this May 11th, 2023. Amount of claim undetermined at this time. So that's their little. There's a picture of Maddie on a yacht.
I haven't seen that before.
Right there. See? There's the Queen Road Apartments. And see that path right there?
Mm-hmm.
To a trail right there.
Oh.
It's a long distance
See the trail?
for sound to travel, right?
Wow.
That trail goes right in behind Emma Bailey's parents' house.
Oh.
Which is behind 1122, right? It's like kind of.
Well,
yeah.
there's King Road right there. Yeah, it's
right,
actually behind it.
Yeah, right. So they could have went through the path and then straight.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And there's a picture of Maddie.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
trying to have some fun, right?
yeah, yeah. That was when she went on vacation with Kaylee and her family to Mexico.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be posting some more on my tab tonight if you guys want to take a look at it.
It's so sad seeing her picture. To me,
Yeah,
I feel bad.
Always, yeah. But this is what it's about, is these victims, and we have to remember that every time,
Yep.
come on to make these videos and live streams.
Yeah, they're real
yeah,
people. They're not like stories we're talking about or movies, you know what I mean? It's like people with families.
And I don't know about you guys, but every time I see a new photo or a new piece, just any new photo of any of the people involved, it roots you back. It really brings you back into reality.
Yeah.
yeah,
Compartmentalize things, but every time I see one, it always gets me too, like you just said, Pia.
Like it's so sad. Like I'm like, why? Like there's nothing you could have done to be butchered. Like Jesus. Anybody ever hear of like if you don't like somebody, just stay away from them? You know what I mean?
yeah,
There's no reason to carry on aggression and weird little like I don't even know what you call it, like drama. There's no reason to like ever do that to anybody. And then these people were
yeah,
butchered because of whatever the reason. I don't really like, I would love to know, but all I care is that whoever did what they did goes to jail because I don't want them anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be the next one. I don't want you guys to be the next one.
Regular
yeah,
people can't quantify murder. It's not something that we can like understand. So we like, why? What's the reason? Well, do we really want to? Can we really even know? Unless, I mean, if we're talking about something to do with, the narrative that's being posed to us, of course, there are other theories too.
Right.
But
yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
crazy.
it's just so sad.
Yeah.
These four victims, they had their whole life ahead of them, and to get taken out the way they did, it's so vile and disgusting.
It seems like it's pretty popular in that area of the country too. Like that was like not the same place, but not very far from Kylie Rodney, right? And she was young, and there were a lot
Yeah,
of tight-lipped adolescents and young adults. You know what I mean? They didn't want to talk about anything. They're too scared that their mom and dad would get mad they were drinking. That's ridiculous. Like you value getting in trouble more than your friends. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Strange.
and there was a missing persons case up there in Idaho that Kaylee was actually involved in.
Oh, really?
Her, yeah, her and Jack was in this store up there, and they saw this one lady in there who'd been missing for like a long time, and Kaylee saw her in there, and there was and Kaylee called 911 and said, "I think I found the missing person," and told the police where she was, and well, when they got there, the lady was gone, and then they found her in her vehicle about two
Oh my
weeks later
God.
at the bottom of a lake.
Wow.
I never heard the conclusion to that, Robert. I mean,
That's interesting. Why
Yeah,
did who killed her? Who did that?
nobody
Or did
knows.
or did she get
Oh,
drunk and drive in a lake? Is that what they're gonna go with
well,
now?
so a lot of people think that it was either foul play or self deletion, because she was a type 2 diabetic. She was off of her medication,
Oh,
and Kaylee was the one that found her at that store and called 911. And when the cops got there, she was already gone.
wow. And how did you find that out? Like, where did you
I was
see it?
watching. I was watching a video about it the other night.
Was it a YouTube video or was it Like, do you
Yeah,
know?
it was a YouTube video.
That's crazy because if we know that Kaylee allegedly was reporting a missing person, then that person who may have been the reason for her to be missing could allegedly be angry with that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they almost got put in prison because they had a missing girl. Or it could very possibly be she was off her medication, not in her right mind. Maybe she was voluntarily or involuntarily on a substance and unfortunately drove into a, what did you say, a lake?
Yeah, right off the boat dock.
Oh, straight down it? Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. That's crazy.
But yeah, the lady, she was like in her 60s.
Oh my God. Well, they get, I don't know. It's hard to say because all those silver alerts are because those old timers shouldn't be driving. You know what I mean? And they
Yeah.
they get lost, and we would just push GPS. You know what I mean? But they're like, oh, I don't have that. I don't pay for that. Like they don't realize things like you can just go on GPS and it doesn't cost you anything. You just click on it and find your way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they oftentimes goes missing, and it's because they're confused. But I mean, if she wasn't diabetic, you could I'm not diabetic, but I know you can go into like a diabetic shock. You know what I mean? And then you can't
Yeah.
really function.
Yeah.
So a lot of times people will like as they're driving and they're diabetic, have some kind of whatever happens to them issue, and then they can't see or they can't steer. I don't know what it's called. Sugar shock? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think it's sugar shock. Because my nephew, he's 8. He's hypoglycemic, and when his sugar gets low, he goes into either sugar shock or a diabetic coma.
Wow.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I can't imagine driving and that happening. You know what I mean?
Keep them in our prayers, Robert.
AR is on his way up, and he said he wants to spend the first 15 minutes talking about what he's found out today with Cara.
Awesome.
There's the link, AR.
Cara Northington you're talking about?
Yes.
Xana's mom. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna let him talk to you guys about that because he knows more than I do.
We'll be grateful for the update. I know we were just talking about that yesterday, and we wanted to hear more. So that's good timing.
Yeah,
a lot of people are asking. Yeah.
Right. She's a victim's mother that we can support and reach out to. You don't have to. I mean, there's like so much value in a kind word. You know what I mean? It would mean more than people would ever imagine. I can't imagine this happening to my child and then the whole world knowing all these gory details and saying like, oh, you're an addict. Like I've never been an addict, but I know it happens to addicts, and they're like stereotyped into being like horrible people. But then everybody was saying like she relapsed. I can't imagine if there was a chemical dependency that anybody had and this happened, you wouldn't have relapsed. That's like the most unexpected tragic thing you could ever experience.
Yeah.
Like nobody can see that coming, and nobody knows how you're going to react when that happens. So I hate when people bash her. I just hate it. I've had people that suffer from addiction in my life, and I don't think it's anything to like mock. That just makes it worse, you know?
Yeah.
She deserves our grace. She deserves our grace. And
that's right.
Yeah, I've been praying for her like the last couple of days. Yeah.
I believe in the power of prayer, so that's great, Robert. I remember Cara in my prayers too.
Is she okay? Do we know?
I'll let AR just tell you that because I mean he is the one talking to her.
Yeah, I was trying to find her in like the registry for Moscow. I know she's not in Moscow. Not that we saw.
Rock. I thought Rock knew. Rock was mentioning it last night.
Rock Chuck.
Rock
Are you in? She's here, right? I just said hi
Yeah,
to
she's
her.
in chat.
Yeah.
Waiting for AR to hit that link. I just dropped it.
Maybe he's too busy hitting the like button. Did everybody hit that?
But
I
yeah,
saw it. I saw it and I was like, I gotta hit that.
Yeah. I've been praying for everyone that's on the panel. I've been praying for you, for everybody the last couple of days. So.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Robert. And we're praying for you and your health too, and all the people in the chat. I just love the YouTube community here. Oh, AR's.
Dun, da, da, da.
There's AR.
Can everybody hear me? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I hear you. I hear you perfect.
You're one of the lucky ones. If you can't hear me, that's probably a good thing.
The floor is yours, AR.
I don't know what to do with the floor. Let me tell you, I'm so retarded. Like, I was trying to get into the studio and I kept backing out and wondering why I couldn't get in. I was like, what am I doing? Kept hitting the exit button while trying to get into it. So it's like I'm retarded. But here we are. So we're here. How is everybody? Everybody doing all right?
Yeah, we're doing okay.
Doing good.
Good. Everybody's just kind of like pausing, like, hurry up, Albert, talk. Swamp Rose, how are you?
Great. So happy to hear you tonight. Hope you're feeling better and you're over your sickness.
Yeah, you know what? I'm finally over it. Now it's just about getting back to trying to act normal, where you have to go back to work and do things as a normal person. You just don't want to do it because you want to keep claiming you're sick and be lazy. But here we are. We're back. So.
Back in the real world.
Yeah, feeling better, and I appreciate it. I hope all of you guys are doing well and staying healthy as well. So, I guess while I was coming in, I heard a little bit. You guys have some questions about Cara, I believe. Is that right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can give you guys some information. Obviously, some of the conversation I have with her, I keep very private, but I am able to talk about what's going on, where she's at now, what she's facing, and what our hopeful game plan is to help her moving forward as well. So, she, as everybody knows, she got rearrested for violation of her probation and a few new charges not long ago. Probably a little over a month ago, she got rearrested. She had been, unfortunately, ducking and dodging. She'd been on the run for a long time. So, a lot of the stuff in the past where the drama was being spewed was actually a little bit of truth. But she did go ahead and get apprehended and went back to the county jail. She started in Washington State, then they moved everything over to Idaho so that it could all be combined in with her actual probation violations, meaning that she wouldn't have to be sentenced and do things in two different states. She was able to get it all handled in the one state. Unfortunately, the judge was not ultimately very nice in regards to her violations. He felt as though he had given her a pretty good opportunity on the first go around, so he went ahead and at first he just gave a 1 year flat minimum sentence with an open ended sentence overall, which kind of baffled me. And, I kind of bit my tongue for a minute while I was listening to her explain it to me because she didn't understand it very well either. Then, she got sentenced to the penitentiary, and it was the 1 year. They were getting ready and they moved her to the intake center where you get your DOC number, they do your evaluations. While they were doing that, which that happened about 2 weeks ago, I was working really hard, getting in touch with the wardens, the deputy wardens, counselors, different people to see what we could possibly do because I've been down the track of the penitentiary and I wanted to try to help her not only establish what her actual sentence would be, but also get her set up with some different programming and some hopeful rehab and different things of that nature to help her avoid a lot of the temptations within the penitentiary. Unfortunately, the judge came back and changed his mind. Instead of just giving her the 1 year bare minimum sentence, he decided to go ahead and give her a 2030 minimum release date. So at that point, we had to go back in. We had to start battling and get some different people involved, which we were able to get in touch with her daughter, Jasmine, who was willing to come aboard with me and a few other people working on the project to talk to the judge. And at this point right now, the earliest that she's eligible for parole will be October of 2026. So we're hoping that we could work some program magic and maybe get the judge to reconsider even that. But we were able to get her moved from where she was going to be housed at a penitentiary yard back to the county jail in Idaho, to where she could begin a program which is going to allow her to be in her own cell, keep her away from the penitentiary individuals, the drama, the addictions that are on the yard, and we're going to help her get into that program and hopefully work that, and then we can present that to the judge if she completes that, and maybe start working on an earlier parole release date. But at this point right now, the earliest that we could do is October of 2026, which is, in my mind, that's a pretty harsh sentence for your very first time ever being sentenced to the penitentiary. But the charges are also not just minor charges either. So I see somebody ask, Teresa, in regards to a lot of drugs in the penitentiary. There's more drugs in prison than there is on the streets. So you can get anything, you can get any amount you want. You can get, I mean, it just comes down to financial means. And that's why I definitely want to talk with everybody in regards to that, because all of us want to support her in the fullest. We all want to. I do as well. My wife does. And I know many of you adore Cara and want to help out any possible way you can. You absolutely have to be careful giving financial means directly to her, meaning putting it on her spending account, because that's how she could get her hands on anything that she wants in regards to her addiction. There are ways to help her get hygiene, food products, writing, stuff of that nature, that I will help everybody be able to do that, to where you could actually help support her without aiding an addiction issue. I could help avoid all of that.
AR, is she
Yep.
okay with like a kind letter of support? Could people do that?
Absolutely, please.
Okay.
It truly helps her. Anything
Yeah, I think that would make a big
positive.
difference. Or a
Yeah,
card or
anything.
something.
Yep, anything positive. Avoid discussing Xana at this point.
Oh yeah, yeah.
She is 100% still heartbroken over her daughter,
She
which
always
is
will be. Yeah.
understandable. And you know, she needs all the positive, just like all of us out here do. We all need it. Everybody in their, you know, their everyday life needs that positivity, and I think we could all share it, not only with her, but I think we could do it with each other here as well. I know Kelly E, I've told you I'll be there for you as well, just in the same. Anybody out there that's ever hurting or down, I'm only a message away, and I'll give anybody and everybody my cell phone number. I know some try to use email, and I'm horrible with email. I will give people my cell phone. I have no fear of doing that. And anybody that ever wants to reach out that may have questions or just needs to talk, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. And I'll I'll definitely pass that. Robert has my phone number now. Rock Chalk has anybody and everybody in here can have my
I don't
cell
have it
phone
yet.
number. I sent it to you in email.
Yeah, I think
sent
I
it to
got
you
it in an email a while back, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody needs it, I'm more than happy to give it to you. I mean, if you guys harass me too much, I'll just change my number. No big deal. But
Right,
but
takes 5 minutes.
yeah, I mean, anybody out there, and you know, you've been through the hardships. We're all here as a support system, and I'm definitely one that I think, you know, what I'm realizing, and I've discussed with many really great minds in regards to this. One of my, I think, niches that I can help out with in this community is to be there for people that have questions, whether it be about family members that are in the system, or you know, just any questions you might have about laws or anything that I could do to help you find any type of rehab or counseling. I'm all about it, and I'll do it. I made the decision to stay on board with the true crime. My wife and I talked about it more last night. I'm going to
Good.
stay within the true crime. I'm going to do some videos here and there. I'll come on and I'll talk with you guys as much as I can, as long as the drama stays wherever it wants to stay and not with us. I'm good. But I just want everybody to stay on top, stay positive, enjoy, you know, being a community with each other. No matter whether we agree or don't agree, we're all about a community. So let's
Yeah.
be there for each other. So
Yeah, I agree.
Amen to that.
I think we should focus on the cases and not like try to slaughter each other. You know what I mean? I think that would be
yeah,
great. But I do know there
Yeah.
are a lot of as many bad creators as there are just as many good creators. So I
I
just try to
agree with
surround
you.
myself with the right creators. You know what I mean? And try to
I
stay away from
absolutely agree with you.
negativity.
I don't mean to interrupt you real quick here,
No,
Pia,
you're
but
fine.
I have to. So Skylar Banks, I've booted you from my channel for the very exact issues that you're creating right now in this chat. I am Kara's biggest supporter, and I have already read about the issues of you feeling like she abandoned Xana and everything of that nature. Take your
Whoa.
stuff. Go somewhere else, Skylar. I'm just telling you right now, this is not my channel, but I'm on it right now. Just take your garbage and go somewhere
Fuck
else.
yeah.
We don't
Go somewhere.
that's unnecessary. If you really want to discuss these issues, somebody will give you my cell phone number. Call me personally, and we'll talk about it behind the scenes, one-on-one, personally. This is ridiculous.
And if you
I
really
can't.
feel that way, if she really feels that way, there's no reason for you to watch this right now. Like,
Hey,
what are you
Pia,
doing?
you're a mod. Why don't you boot her?
Oh,
I have
okay.
no idea why you're even here, Skylar. You know I have an issue with you. I booted you my own self, so now you're in here causing drama on somebody else's channel. That's
Right.
ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Keyboard warrior.
Well, and normally I'm one of the nicest people, and I'm very respectful, and I don't speak like that. But take that garbage somewhere else. Maybe take it to where you need to go, and that's rehab and therapy yourself. Sounds like
Right.
you have a few
Focus on
issues.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, you have a few issues you need to go work out.
True crime's not
All
the
right.
place for people who have stereotypes.
No.
Well, yeah, and
You can't
guys,
judge anyone.
we want the best for anybody and everybody in overcoming any type of issues that they might have. I don't want to see anybody struggle or hurt. And I get it. People are maybe a little upset because we're talking about Cara and putting her maybe on a little pedestal, because we all care. We understand what's going on. And she deserves that right now, because she's willing to absolutely take responsibility for her actions, and she's ready to fight and try to be better than what she was just a couple of days ago. So I'm sorry. I shouldn't have got upset, but here we are. We're talking
Why
positivity,
not?
and then we gotta read that.
I think you should have gotten upset.
I think
I think it's time to speak up to people like that. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. You're like,
yeah, and I mean, she did
pissed
that
me
on
off
my
a lot.
page. She did that on my page when I was actually putting up community posts on how to help Cara, and she did all this. And I get it. She struggled and she had to overcome, and she said she did it on her own, and that's great. I'm glad. I'm glad that you were able to do that. But you know what? Cara has support. We're going to help her through it. So it
Yeah,
is what it is.
she's
Don't
a
like it,
human
move on.
being, a victim's mother. Like, how dare her? Whoever she was. I don't know who that was, but I've never seen that name. I think like to look down on somebody for any reason is fucked up. I would never say I've never had an addiction, so fuck all them. Like I've never said that. Everybody has their own load on their back that they need to carry around, and they need to deal with their own problems. Not any of us is perfect. You need to be better every single day, and that's not helping anything. Coming in here talking about how Cara has been exposed for her chemical dependency and using it against her. I mean, they didn't come after Cara as far as I know, so Cara's life has nothing to do with this crime.
Right.
Yeah,
It's just
And you
fucking
know,
sad that people would do
when
that.
when somebody comes out like that, they said, "Look, I had to overcome my addiction on my own." Well, I'm sorry you had to do that. I wish I had been around to give you the same support that I'm willing to give everybody else. I would have done it for that woman too. But
Yeah,
you can't be upset that somebody else needs some help or someone to back them. I get it. I struggled in life too. I struggled in life too, and I'm not going to blame my problems on anybody else's decision to not support me.
right.
So, you know what? Smile on your way out the door.
Exactly.
Smile, but
You caught that. I didn't see that before you said that. Like you caught it.
I,
Good eye.
yeah, I don't know. I recognized the name right off the bat, but I just knew it was. It's like here we are. We're having a serious conversation about people's want to know knowledge about somebody. You guys are all wanting to know because you care and you want to help, and then some person has to make comments like that. I mean that's why our communities are really hard to endure making content and dealing with the comments, because we have so many people that if you're not happy, just hit the exit button, leave,
Yeah.
go away, because we're not begging you to be here. We're not, we love it
Right.
if you are, but we're not begging you to be here, so go away, go away. No big
Right.
deal.
What was the name? Skylar Banks, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I can take them away from my channel right away before even dealing with anything like that.
Hey,
Okay.
I had a
Yeah, I'm
question
telling
for
you.
you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I a quick question. When you were talking about Cara's sentence, you said that she's looking at 2030. Is that like actual? Is that the actual sentence? Because I know sometimes, depending on what type of system you're in, there's it's not actual years added up to like. So if it's 2030, you could get off like you get so many days for like you serve 1 day, you might get 2 days served. I don't know. Is it
Right.
actually 2030, or is that just like the?
So her sentence end date is 2030. Her early release date, if she earns parole, because Idaho's a little bit different, you don't get like some states say you do 85% of your sentence, you get good time. So you might get like 80 days per year of good time. Idaho works a little bit differently. You have to go in front of the actual parole board, apply for parole, and if they deem you where they feel as though they could send you home, then anytime after that date they could send you home. And her earliest parole hearing date is October of 2026.
Oh my God.
So that's the first chance she'll get to even apply for parole.
So she, as long as she stays behaving, right, she could make a difference with that 2 years time, right? And then
Right. If
they
she
might
stays
lower her sentence, right? Because she was already in
right.
there.
If she stays on a good path I believe if she can get the help and stay on top of things and work while she's in there and just behave, just stay out of all the trouble, no disciplinary, she will definitely get paroled on that date of October of 2026. I believe there's an opportunity that we could shoot for earlier than that if we can get the judge to reconsider the sentencing based off of the fact she's willing to take some harder rehab stuff and go into different programs. If we can keep her on that path, I think we can get her home in early of 2025. But we'll
That's
see.
cool.
We'll see.
Yeah, that would be
Because sometimes you think you could get home and everybody fights and battles, and then she goes and gets just a disciplinary action for being out of place or not making her bed or smoking a cigarette in the bathroom where you're not allowed to. And next thing you know, you've lost a year worth of your eligibility of parole. Then I'm not going to be able to help her get home before her parole day. So we all need her to really focus and really want to do it for herself. And that's why I always say, please write her positivity, send her positive cards. Just, be an open ear for things she may want to talk about. Let her know if you need to talk about anything, we're open ears, and we're not going to share it with other people. We're here for you. And, so
Right.
I will.
that's
And
where
I'll encourage my audience too. When you say that you're trying to, there's a possibility that she could get out sooner, and if she got into some hardcore rehab. One of the other questions I had for you was, does she have plans on where she would go when she left prison? Although I know it's so far in the future, is that kind of what you're saying, is like, if they can get something lined up and funded for when she leaves, she might be able to leave sooner? So I guess, I don't know if there's another way we can support too, is if I know those are very expensive as well, the rehab. So I know there's like 3 questions bundled in one right there for you, AR, but does she have?
I get exactly what you're saying. They're great questions. And, Cara and I and Jennifer has been involved in the conversations as well, because Jennifer's actually easier to talk to than I am, I believe, for Cara, because I'm a little more strict. Like, I know prison, I know what's going on, so you got to really, figure this out, where Jen's more the open ear, Ben the supporter, Ben the lover. Now, there's going to be options, and it's a harder path for her because we have to keep her away from the typical support system she has now, because that's one of her downfalls to the addiction, and she understands that. So we're looking at it's an inpatient rehab center, but they deal with people being released from the penitentiary, and they have 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, 120-day programs that work with the actual parole office. So the parole office could allow her to parole there, or we would have to look at something like a sober living situation, which still allows for the counseling and the rehab, but it's more of a live on your own with a group of individuals in the house. It's a sober home. That one's harder to get the judge to approve, but he can over time if she completes some of these programs. So it's difficult because no judge is going to approve your parole to come home and live in an apartment on your own. Like, you're going to have somebody that's willing to almost co-sign for you, to help you. And, I'm not going to tell her this, but I'll let you guys know. Jen and I are in discussion that we would do something of that nature, of co-signing and getting her transferred out of the state of Idaho or Washington to come more south towards us, and we would find a way to to help with the housing situation and the counseling and different things of that nature. So
God bless both of you.
You know, that's something that Jen and I are in discussion about, and Jen has like a perfect history from me paroling, her aunt paroled to Jen, and Jen has kept it on top. None of us ever have violated before. None of us have ever had any issues with police contact. Everything's gone smoothly. So Jen literally has a file that's perfect for the parole aspect of things. So we're definitely in discussion. I haven't brought it up to her because I don't think right now she would make the commitment to leave the area. But there's options that if she chose to not leave the area that we could do as well. We just kind of want to be a little more hands-on and help guide her when she comes home in the transition, because we understand how difficult it would be to get the clothes, to be able to, you know, prepare yourself to go talk to jobs, things of that nature. So, you know, we'd be able to help her with rides and get to the places she needs to go, like the counseling centers, the parole office, to ensure that she wouldn't, I guess, be at risk of violating right away. So that's kind of an idea. I hope that answers your question a little bit. But there are options, but they're going to be strict and they're going to be hard for her. So
wouldn't it be a great blessing to get her away from the area where everything, yeah, that would be wonderful. Let's hope that that's something that she considers in the future. And God bless you guys for willing to help people like that. We need more people in the world like you and Jennifer.
Well, we appreciate it. I had to learn myself when I got paroled. I needed help. And there were many people that put their hand out and many people that didn't. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people that don't want to help you, and that's okay. But I remember all the people that were willing to help and the graciousness that they gave me a shirt to wear to an interview or whatever it needed for me to be able to step forward and say, I'm going to do better in this. And I, like I tell Jen and I'll tell all of you, it is very key that we get her away from Washington State, Idaho, and Arizona. Those are the three downfalls in her addiction right there. Those are the three places that is just all bad. So, we're going to put a lot of work in with the court systems to get things transferred. I'm willing to, and I probably shouldn't say, but Jen will probably go full bore to get her sentence transferred to Nevada so that the whole process is handled in Nevada and she could parole here and never even have to worry about those states. Those states would be out of the mix. She could parole here. And, I've been on parole here. I know, all the offices. I know most of the people here. I know the programs. I know where she could do her community service. So we think that we could get her really in a good position here. So
yeah, you truly are a saint, AR. You really are.
I'm just a normal human being, just like everybody else, and I'm sure every one of you guys would love to help in any way you can too. So I can't take credit for that. I have an amazing wife. I'll tell you what, for those of you that have gotten to talk to my wife or see her in the lives that we do, she is that genuine all the time. It's amazing what my wife cares about other people, and she changed me. I was not always this way. Trust me, I struggled with socializing. I struggled with people. I was a rough and gruff. I just didn't care, and she snapped her fingers and worked some magic, and now I just feel blessed I could walk beside her and do the same for people if I'm able. So, growing up.
Oh, sweet.
If you hear a little kid in the background, that's my daughter running around playing.
Oh, let her. She
Get
could be
her
as
up
loud as she
here.
wants. Yeah. Yeah.
Get
up
her
here.
on panel. She probably knows more than I do. Get her up here on panel. We need some
Yep.
good chatters.
I'll let you see what she looks like. Hold on a minute.
Ooh, that's dangerous, dude. Be careful.
Yeah, be careful with that. Always protect your children. Every step of the way, you gotta protect your kids.
Amen, Russ.
Yes, Rock.
So, while we had a
Oh, hi.
minute, can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Yep.
Well, while we had a minute, AR, when we discussed this yesterday, because we had people in the chat, they have family members that's locked up, and some people in here has lost children, and we talked about maybe a couple times a week coming to the Discord and having just a spot just for you where you could spend some time with some of these people instead of giving out your number. Are you still interested in that?
Yeah, I'm going to really open myself up to help any way I possibly can. And I think I could dedicate 2 to 3 days a week to spend a couple hours within, and I talked to Jen about that as well, within Discord. And then what Jen and I would like to do one day a week is go live on our channel for any questions, anybody from the community that wants to come out and talk to Jen as well to get information. We can discuss things. We can, we can have different live topics based off of the needs of the community. And instead of just making up our own content, we'll answer
Exactly.
questions and we'll work with everybody. And if anybody's struggling or whatever it might be, we're always here. So definitely, Rochak, and I definitely want to work with you guys, all of you, to set that up and best do that, because I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about Discord. But if you guys are willing to work with me and help me with that, I'm going to be an open book and I'll help out as much as I can.
And on that note, AR, I have a master's degree in psychology and a bachelor's degree in psychology. So if I could be of any help, I would love to do that as
Ooh,
well.
maybe even the both of you. That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
You know what I
No,
mean?
that's a great
Awesome.
combination, because you bring the educational value with the actual ability to utilize that, where I just bring you raw everyday, let me help you through experience and through love and support. You could bring some actual clinical stuff to that, and you've got a huge heart and the capability to use that as well. We could be a pretty good team. Yeah, we
Yeah,
could
I
really be
believe
a good
we
team.
could. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
I want to
So
use it for something.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to use my education for good. I want to
I
use
love
my
I
voice to
love
help
both of
people.
you. I love
Thank
both
you.
of you. And I did notice in the chat yesterday, there's several people in here that maybe their husband's incarcerated, their children are incarcerated. There's some in here that had addiction and lost children. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I found in this true crime community, there's a lot of people out there that's really struggling, and they've come to the true crime community to kind of get away from some of that, but they might need a little extra help, and you two would be awesome about it. And another thing you could do, I'll talk to Stephen when he gets up, and we'll make a panel to the side, and we'll get it together. I promise it'll be really good for both of you. And then you guys could pick a day a week, and you, Jen, and AR maybe could
And
also
Bob. And Bob.
and Bob. I'm sorry, and Bob.
It's okay.
Maybe you four could even do a live on ARs
yeah,
and discuss
and
stuff like that.
that's one thing, Pia, and I'm always aware with all anything that you do on my channel. If you want to come over and protect yourself and do lives on my channel, bring Bob. We'll open up the live stream. You can run your panels. You can do your content. And I'll do all the financials right there in front of you, right there with you. Anything you guys get donation wise, anything you guys get financially through the channel, I will directly cash app to you. I'll pay it directly to you. And
Aw.
then
Oh,
you will 100% be taken care of financially for every penny earned. So I would never hide it from you. And that gives
Oh,
you
I
a
don't think
safe
you would.
platform. Yeah, well, it gives you a safe platform that we will always have your back, and you don't have to worry about trolls or anybody like that. So
Thank
AR,
you.
you got a question on the screen.
Okay. I see a dog. I see a dog lover.
Yeah,
You've got a
that's
single
fun.
brother. Bianca wants to know if you have a
Bianca
single
wanted to know.
brother.
It's on the screen. You're probably on your phone.
So,
I love it.
I'm not sure you want my brothers. Let me tell you, I was adopted. I was adopted, and I just kind of started meeting some of my biological family, and I don't even know if I want to know. I mean, it's like, oh shit, can I go back to not knowing where I came from? But no,
Well,
I have a brother that is actually the lead prosecuting attorney in a major state. He's a great guy, but he's not worth dating. Yeah, no, not really. I don't have anybody worth anybody's while.
well, maybe so. I know a lot of people that would love to go to Australia. It's beautiful
Oh
over
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
would.
And,
I
and
would.
Kiki, I'm so glad you're up here. I'm sorry. This was something that we had discussed yesterday, and while they both were here, Strange wasn't here yesterday for it, and I wanted to bring it up because there is a lot of mental health out there, and I'm just a friend. I don't have any kind of training, and I just think these two could really help some of our community. And if you have people, Kiki, in your community, they could always join the Discord too and join these sessions with these two. I think it's going to be a real big hit. I told AR yesterday he had tried to get away from the Idaho for a little bit, and he's back into it. But I kind of think that's his nick. Like, that's something that he would be just really good at. And the people in the chat was really excited about it.
Well, I
And
just think it's so generous that all of you are willing to give your time, because there's so much need out there for mental health, and there's just so much need for people to care. And it's not just your experience. You're obviously very charismatic, or people wouldn't be subscribing to your channel. And so you have a gift, and I'm just happy to hear that you guys are openly willing to share it. And I really applaud you for what you're setting up with this
I would
Discord.
share that with anyone, any channel.
And just like I've told Pia and I've told Bob, Swamp Rose, very same thing. If there's anything, anytime, ever that I could do to help you, and look, you're an amazing content creator. You don't need my help in any of those spectrums. But if I could ever help in any way, or if I could join you on a panel or have you on a panel with me on mine, with
for sure,
everybody else, I would so be honored to work with you. And I
would
say
be
that
on your
very
panel in like 5 seconds.
yeah. I mean I 100% would be honored with all of you. So
yeah, I was on their panel yesterday, and thank you for allowing me to be on your panel, Kiki. I just had to I had to get down to help with the to help with the showing, and then of course I wanted to also get down because Jeff H was on the panel.
yeah.
He's in here, I think.
Well, I'd love.
What?
No, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I think there's a lag on my end, so I'm so sorry I interrupted you. I just wanted to say thank you for being there and supporting me, and I would love to have all of you on my panel again. Anytime I'm live, just let me know you're in the chat. I never open up the lives, but I just never did, and I see how great it is for the community because they get to hear a bunch of different point of views. And so anytime you're in you see me live, I'd love to have any of you on my
Do
on my
any
panel.
of you have like a set schedule? Because I know we do our videos at the same time. I try to catch everybody's lives, but it's like pretty random. You know what I mean? Is it like whenever?
Yeah. Most of my lives lately are Monday and Tuesdays because that's Jen's open availability. But I'm going to be opening that up, and I'll post it on my community page of when I'm planning on doing stuff on my channel. But guys, I'm open almost 24/7 to come to anybody's channel and help them out, or just be there and support, talk to the people. The one thing I have to say something, because the comment about me and the Idaho 4 being set aside. I have a very important project that I'm actually working on in regards to a case. I don't know if anybody's gone to my channel and looked at it. It's about a case that happened a year ago. Lily Peters, the 10-year-old little girl, that her life was taken by her 14-year-old cousin. It is a devastating case across the board. Kind of hits home a little bit with me because I understand some of the things that happened within the case because it's happened in my past reasonings why I was taken away and put up for adoption. My younger sister was. So there's a lot of stuff within that case. But the family has entrusted me to speak about that case. So I'm going to be doing some big things. Like her favorite color was purple. So on the anniversary date of every month of the 22nd of every single month, I'm going to be wearing purple and ask people in my community to wear it to work. And just really, I'm pushing to get eyes on that because it's a very important young man that right now is being charged as an adult. They're trying to fight to get it moved over into a juvenile court. If you don't know the case, please take a look. I don't want to throw all the details out on here because it's a tough case to grasp. But I'm just so excited to be able to work with the family in regards to this case, to get the awareness out there, to honor Lily herself. And so I'm going to maybe even ask some of you guys as content creators to help me with that, to even get this story out there in a better manner. And if you guys have advice, I will always listen so I can improve my craft. But just so you guys know, that's something I'm diving into, and it really means something to me. And one of the family members and I are literally becoming family ourselves. That's how close we're getting. It is very difficult. Just kind of like how I feel with Cara, where I feel like now I become the older brother to Cara because I'm 2 years older than her. So I'm kind of stepping in as an older brother figure. Well, this family, I'm really building. They're getting dog treats for my dogs, and I'm, talking about the cat. It's an amazing bond. So hopefully you guys would be willing to kind of help me with that case outside of the Idaho 4 as well.
Okay.
I'm on board. If you want to come on my channel and talk about it, that's a great way. That's a great excuse to have you, and Jen too is welcome to come in on and talk and let my audience know about that. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah,
Okay,
and it's just. I'm sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
I got the green light to show you exactly what all evidence we have in the Idaho court discussion on my Discord. So that's where I'm going to take you guys, and you guys are going to be blown away.
Okay.
I got to pass this YouTube thing first. Guys, and you guys are going to be blown away.
Okay. Does that have volume, or am I supposed to read it? Well, I'm on my cell phone, and this
No,
is
I
gonna
don't
be.
see any volume. I think he's going to his Discord.
Oh,
Might
okay.
be
I was gonna say this is gonna be interesting.
right. You're like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, you want me to actually intelligently discuss something I can't read or see. This is gonna get fun. Let me tell you.
Right.
Yeah, you go. Now this is the actual page, guys. Look at this.
Oh,
There's the white Elantra.
nope, it's not up there. It says Discord on the screen.
Hey, hold on.
You have to reshare the screen.
Is that better?
Yep.
And just for Rock Chalk, somebody asked for my email. If you could maybe drop that or a link where they can get in touch with me. I can't do it on here, but that way, anybody that needs to email me, you're more than welcome. It's just a convictsthoughts@gmail.com, so it's really not that hard.
There's the infamous screenshot.
Yeah, that's where they took the picture off of the screen of the computer of the car driving by the gas station.
Which
It's not
is
even
like
the correct car.
amateur move.
Yeah, and didn't they deem that's not even the correct car? That was just for visualization. I didn't think they thought that was the
Who does
right
that look
car.
like?
That looks like
Yeah.
a young girl.
God, that looks like my ex.
Looks like
No, I'm
Bethany.
kidding.
I hope it's not.
No, that's not my ex. I can promise
It looks
you
like
that.
it looks like a young person for sure. Maybe
Yeah.
it looks like what's her name? Emma a little bit. Is that who you think it is?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. You know, the sad thing about today's society is girls grow up so fast they look like they're 32 when they're actually 12. So I don't know
Yeah.
anymore.
Have
You
you
could
guys
say
seen
that
these
again.
pictures yet?
Yeah, I see those. There's like 6 of them. Okay,
Yeah.
so that is her. Okay.
Well, you know who these two are. It's Maddie and Kaylee.
Those two are Maddie and Kaylee?
Yeah, that's
On
Maddie
the
and Kaylee.
on the left, that's Kaylee?
Maddie, right there. Kaylee.
No, that's Kaylee. What? Weird. They look so different all the time because, like, I know they used to have brown hair, now they have blonde hair.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I think
confusing,
that-
and a lot of them look exactly the same.
I think they changed their hair colors quite a bit.
Yeah. It's a fun
Now-
thing to
now,
do,
see,
right,
here's the
AR?
thing.
I tend to do it once or twice here, you know.
I do it too. I love it.
Yeah, my hair's
2023 Hyundai Ioniq 5. Now, look who got the car. Sigma
So-
Chi Alpha House Corporation. Kent G. Nelson.
What?
He just purchased a 2023 Hyundai Ioniq 5.
You still with us, Swamp Rose?
Right. Hello, Kiki.
Sorry. I'm here.
You're not allowed to be silent here. We need your expertise and help. You and
Right?
Tia are supposed to dominate this conversation so us men can just be quiet. Come on.
Right? And they can go, oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Where's
I'm
Bob
sure
over
Jen
there,
would
Tia?
agree. He's
Right
in
here.
Where's Bob?
the bedroom watching some guy ride an electric bike, I think.
Oh, and he's not out. He's not out here enduring this with me. I see how he is.
Yeah,
Ah,
right? Now we
I will
know.
get him
No.
back soon. Don't worry.
Now, what do you guys think about this?
Of this car?
Of the name of the person, look at the name. Sigma Chi Alpha House Corporation. Sigma Chi. Kent
But what
G.
is
Nelson.
that filing
director.
date, though? It says May 19th something. May 19th, 19...
Filing date May 19th, 1993. But it is Sigma Chi.
But why?
That was
Why
the
would
filing date, okay?
I'm just wondering
But
why
look at the year of the car.
1993 matters.
Because it says that's the filing date, so I'm wondering if that's when they bought the car was 1993.
But
Yeah,
the
but
year of the
the
car is
car.
2023.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all.
So
That's weird.
evidently an error in the dates.
Right, yeah, it's got to be. Because you can't, like, own it before it's even created.
I would hope not. Now we're talking about Back to the Future stuff. I mean,
Look at this. Guys, look at this.
Okay, what is this? Eagle to Cottonwood.
Equal to Cottonwood, both owned by Steve Weeks.
Steve
Here,
Weeks.
I'll blow it up for you.
Well, you know everybody's name. I don't even know who Steve Weeks is. I don't know that. Eagle to Cottonwood. Oh, he owns the whole block, is what you're saying.
Is that the Banfield? That must be the Banfield, right? No.
Yes.
Eagle Department. Yeah.
Look
So
at that interesting name up there.
He owns the whole block.
Anna,
Is it?
yeah.
What the hell? So who the hell
Look
is
at the
he?
interesting name up there. Anna Taylor, LLC.
Whoa. Steve Weeks.
That's an interesting coincidence.
That's interesting. He's a lawyer too. I just looked him up. It says Steve Weeks, owner of Weeks Law in Idaho, Eagle, Idaho.
And there's the house right there.
And his office is in Coeur d'Alene. Interesting. Maybe he's playing Monopoly. You know what I mean? Maybe he's just spreading his money around, collecting as well.
But so I'm not. That looks like okay. So either isn't the Banfield across the street from them? So that must be the property. So he owns that now because I thought the university.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. That they were gifted it or whatever.
It's interesting.
Yeah. See, there's the house right there. The house was gifted to the university by Dan Esty. And see, at one point, Dan Esty not only owned 1122 King Road, which you see right here, 1122 King LLC, but Dan Esty owned that right there, and that right there. He owned the entire block. Dan Esty did, and until he sold everything.
So if he has that much money, then he would have, for sure, cameras, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like cameras on all those. Yeah. Interesting. So that's probably all the 51 terabytes. It's probably included in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because see, if you look right here, you can see Eagle Investment Group under this. See what they did. Eagle Investment Group sold out to Cottonwood.
I know exactly which house you're talking about now. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. Because you have Eagle Investment Groups over here in the green, which, like you were saying, Kiki, technically owned Banfield, it looks like. They sold out to Cottonwood, which Cottonwood is Cottonwood and Eagle Investments are both owned by Steve Weeks. So he sold the properties to himself. That don't make no fucking sense.
It's weird.
See, Eagle to Cottonwood, both owned by Steve Weeks. So he owned both Eagle Investments plus Cottonwood. So why would he sell to him So why would he sell to himself?
Well, that is I can't think of the name of it. That's a crime. That's where you're like manipulating how much money you have. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you call that?
Money laundering?
Yeah, money laundering. There you go. Leave it to the Italian not to know that name. I'm like, I never heard of it. Money laundering. Weird. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like money laundering, right? It seems like there's something financially amuck, right?
Yeah.
It seems like there's a lot of money.
This is who we're trying to figure out who Kaylee was standing by.
This one
we don't know if it was her cousin or what.
Is that the only picture with her?
Yeah. And they're on a yacht.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, I know that dress and I know that hair. Like, I know that outfit. I haven't seen that girl before.
Is she maybe, I don't know if that's right. Is she maybe the girl that was in the passenger seat with Emma Bailey? That
I
blonde
don't
girl?
know.
You know what I mean? The one that
Yeah,
she was
I
like,
know, yeah, I
she's
know who
like,
you're
if
talking about.
anybody, if you find anything, it's so and so, is whatever her name was.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about? With the two guys in the back, and one was like nodding and nodding.
The girl, when she said, "I don't have my phone," the girl who handed the phone to the cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, they're both trying to get each other in trouble. They're like, no, not me, you. That's messed up. That's childish. That's what I'm thinking. A lot of this has to do with young minds trying to like outsmart people, and they're really bad at it. Like people that think that Snapchat, that all your stuff disappears on Snapchat, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like it's just like I watch creators that catch pedophiles very often, and they always think that if they delete something, nobody's gonna see it. But
Yeah.
they'll show up with the chat logs. You know what I mean? And they're like, "What about this? What about this?" But you can't just erase something. You know what I mean? Ever. Like it's 2024. There's like Brian Koberger could tell you there's cloud forensics that you can use and find stuff out in 1 minute. You know what I mean? Like I could find out what
Yeah.
kind of underwear you wear, you know what I mean? Or where you shop at, or where you get gas, all kinds of stuff. You just got to know what you're doing.
That's Kaylee.
And that's why I worry about us, because we're on an open case and we don't think they have the right person. So somebody.
Yeah.
You put that idea into my head. Like, I mean, I stumble into true crime, but not every time you say that, it makes me pause. I wonder what else I could do to protect my identity, because but every time you say that, Pia, it just brings so much reality to the situation. It's an open case. It's not over.
Yeah. Like I'm brave. I can defend myself. I was in the Army 8 years, but I don't want to have to watch my back. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to have to live my real life in fear. That doesn't make sense to me. So that's why I conceal my identity. I know a lot of people compare it to Drip Drop, but it has nothing to do with him. Our shows are very different, I feel.
Yeah, see right there. The
I
stairs
got
end
Bob,
here.
you know?
The stairs end here. Just a few doorstep. Just a few feet from Emma Bailey's doorstep. See that? There's that path I was showing you earlier. And there's Emma Bailey's parents' house.
So they live.
It's so close.
Yeah, they lived so close.
And when she got arrested, she called somebody in Moscow. Because the guy had stated that, like the two officers that were talking, he's like, yeah, they're coming from Moscow. And he's like, do they have cash? And he was like, yeah. He's like, okay, then it's 500. And then she tried to call somebody, and then she called somebody else and told them to look in the safe and get the money, and
Hey,
she
Rock,
didn't
what's
have the
up?
money.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Kelly's in the chat. She's the one that's been really filling up this Idaho 4. And that picture you asked about, that was Ashlyn Couch.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. There you go. Thank you.
You're welcome. I wanted to jump up to show you guys that. Any questions though? She's really filled up the Idaho 4. Y'all should come really check it out. But I'll try to pay attention, and I'll put a little big old pink hand by me if you have a question and you're asking and I see her post it, so that you guys can see it.
Thanks.
Okay.
I just saw
Yeah,
that.
that's good, because I want to know what they're saying too.
Yeah, and you want to know who it is, and she's willing to answer. So I'll go back down. Love you guys.
Hey, do you think we ought to bring Kelly up on panel, guys?
Well, yeah, if she
Sure.
has some insight, why not? She shouldn't have to type. We're not typing. Well, I am a little bit, but that's cool.
If you need room, I could step down for her to come up.
No, that's okay. That's
Don't you go,
fine.
AR.
Yeah, don't you go, AR.
Okay, well that means sit down and be quiet and stay here.
Yep.
Hey, Kelly, click the link.
Hey, come on up, Kelly. If you don't want your face to be shown, you don't have to. But you can if you want.
Firsthand about how the things that she's gathered for your file.
You know the picture of Hunter and Emily in the golf cart. Oh.
There's the date. Well, there's the time, 1:58 a.m.
I've heard so much conversation about this dumpster footage lately. It's the new thing people are going to be taking a deep dive on, I feel, in the next week.
Yeah, I think so too. What do you think was in the dumpster?
That's a good question.
Or is that for a video?
I haven't studied it enough.
I don't know what it is. I think it's just somebody throwing something away. I think this is all distraction.
At 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And
yeah.
Right next to a house. I mean, I still think if it were you or me and we were the police and we were looking for clues, we'd want to know who was at the dumpster at 4 in the morning and what were they throwing away? Did they see anything? Did they hear anything? I don't know. So
right.
I think it's all relevant.
There's a lot of things they haven't looked into, where they seemingly haven't looked into, which is very weird to me. Like it's very incompetent of them. I just want to say there's great police officers out there. I just want to say that, but these are not them.
All I can say, because you guys know,
this is a video.
I mean, you guys know a lot more about, the actions around and the times of that. But the one thing that I beat on pretty hard in my videos, I think people understand, is the fact that I hold the justice system accountable for the lack of the investigation, the lack of actually doing it properly. And the number one thing I could tell you, and a lot of people have asked me, what do you think about this dumpster? What do you think about what could have been in it? Could have been anything. It could have been anyone. And I can't tell you whether it's a part of the crime or not a part of the crime. But I could tell you, I bet you they didn't investigate it. I bet they didn't go dig through it. They didn't see what was in there. And now these videos are surfacing, and those, investigators or cops probably have to kick themselves in the butt and go, oh man, it's on video of someone going to that dumpster right after these crimes. We never once went and looked at that dumpster. Oh crap. And, or them throwing the black jacket down at the fire hydrant. Let's not even look in the pockets. Let's not check this jacket out. Let's just toss it to the side like it doesn't matter. These are the problems in this case. And now the unfortunate thing about it is all the way through this, we could talk and we could present it and we could show all the proof in the world, but it's not in evidence, and now it never can be. And there's
it's just
the problem.
Set right back down. It obviously, like, what stands out to me about that jacket is not only did they do that, but it wasn't her size. She didn't dress like that. You know what I mean? Someone said, "Here, you want my jacket?" You know what I mean? And who was that? Who were
and people say, "Well, what did he do with the weapon?" Well, it could be in that dumpster. Who knows? It could be in that black jacket pocket. Who knows? It could be anywhere. They didn't look.
Out front of the house. There too.
They didn't look. They didn't do anything to try to find that. Not the day that the crime happened, all the way till today. They've done nothing to try to find that weapon. Nothing.
It's awful. And so that there's no proof that is the weapon. So, you know what I mean? Like, if it doesn't exist, then so what? There was a fingerprint allegedly a fingerprint on a brass part of a K-knife.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's great news. You found a sheath.
Yeah.
Now
cool.
I want you to match that sheath up to all of the puncture wounds in the body and show me that they match. I doubt it, because it's not a weapon that could do that type of damage. So, you didn't even look for the weapon. You just claimed what it might be. I don't have any proof of that. I would have
taken DNA off all the X's at the X Club. That's what I would have done. Because it could have just been borrowed from there and brought right back.
Anything. Yeah. And I hear a lot of people discuss the different types of weapons or what could have been used or who had them. And the sad part of it is we could sit here, but is the investigation or the prosecution ever going to care enough to go get it? That's the problem. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, AR, what kind of weapon do you think could, if you don't think a KR, in your personal opinion, if you don't think a K-bar could inflict those kinds of wounds, what type of knife would you suggest, or what type of weapon would you suggest might?
No, and it's not that it couldn't. A K-bar could, but I don't think it could take 4 people out in that short period of time without being fumbled, dropped. There's something else involved weapon-wise in this. And if you just look at the variety of pictures we see machetes, we see all kinds of knives everywhere. Who's to say one of the girls didn't have a knife laying right underneath their bed as a protective or just even a play around knife, and someone grabbed that and the knife didn't even come from outside. It came from in the house, and maybe it's still in the house. Who knows? But I don't know.
No,
It's
you're right.
just, you know.
I think it was more than one person and more than one weapon. That's what I think.
What about that machete that freaking Dylan was holding up in that one picture?
Yeah, I mean, and at the frat, they were holding up 2 of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the size of that machete that they're about ready to cut that watermelon with. I hate to tell you, if I had that in my hand, it wouldn't take me but 3 seconds to get some people. Now the timeline fits. Now the timeline fits.
Kelly says, AR, I believe the K-bar belonged to Maddie Mogan.
There's a good chance. I mean, how many did we see in the frat house pictures? Just, people with different various weapons. I mean, it's what, 90% of the people up there probably have one?
Right. And it's a very rural area, and they're all hunters. You know what I mean? It's what they do. There's nothing else. Like, it's
But
very,
at the end
remote.
of the day, Swamp Rose, I know you're very good at what you do. Pia, you're a great mind. Bob, you're a great mind. Everybody in the chat's a great mind. Just think of any single case that is a homicide case, not even a 4-person, just even a 1-person homicide where they did not search for a weapon or the clothes or any evidence where they go do a block off of the road or they follow that path they feel like he took. They never once went looking for anything. No. There's only 2 reasons why that would be. Either A, they already have it and they're not telling you they have the weapons, or they just are not that experienced or good at doing an investigation. And it's clear they're not. Show me that they went to that dumpster. You're showing a video of somebody relatively right around the homicides throwing something away in that dumpster. It's on video. And whoever looked at that dumpster, whoever went near it?
Nobody. Just like Christy in that latest interview said that they didn't even go through the trash that was in the house because they still found that little squeezy applesauce thing in Kaylee's trash can, and the trash hadn't even been gone through.
Yep. Doesn't make any sense.
Now, do you guys realize they took about 111 items of evidence? That's 20 some odd items a piece for the victims,
which is nothing. Which is nothing. I meant to talk about one of my first crimes where it was actually just a fist fight at a local high school that involved 6 people, and I happened to be involved. It sucked. A lot of people got hurt. They took my entire bedroom out of my bedroom to try to find evidence. They completely cleared out like all my buddies' places. When we went to trial, they had 55,000 pieces of evidence just against me, and nobody in the case died. So you can only imagine.
Wait, what? 55,000 did you say?
55,000 pieces of evidence that they collected from 32 different places to get my DNA on certain things, things that I had handled and taken to another place and dropped off. They collected everything and put it into evidence. It was over 55,000 pieces of evidence just against me, just me, and nobody actually died in the crime.
That's crazy.
So imagine when someone says, well, we only have 100 pieces of evidence. When someone told me that, there should be 100 pieces of evidence of the blood splatter drops that they have to cut out of the floor or the wall or I mean, there should be so much evidence in that place of where he bumped into the wall going up to the stairs. They don't have all that. They don't have it.
And see what, like what we talked about last night, AR, with the house, why, when they were tearing it down, it was clearly not a very sturdy house. It looked like it was just made out of sheets of plywood. And then they took every single piece of that house and buried it somewhere. And Scott Green made the comment, "Oh, it's so people who's into murder memorabilia doesn't collect any of the house."
Yeah, well, that house should have never been torn down. That was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. But you know what? It's down. I mean, now there's nothing anybody could do about that now. It's down. But at the end of the day, if this isn't the guy, if Brian Koberger's not the guy, and this case somehow gets dismissed, it gets mistrialed, or if he gets found innocent, how do you go to the victims' families and say, we put everything we had into this case, we're sorry we came up short, but now we have no way to move forward to try to get anybody else? That was it. That's all we had.
Yeah, see, like in the docuseries we watched the other day, Pia, did they not say that they found 3 unknown male DNAs in Maddie's room?
I don't know where they found them, but I do know they said 3, whatever that prosecutor's name is. He's like 3 untested male DNAs. I had it in like one of my first videos. I wouldn't recommend it because the sound sucks, but he did say that there was 3 untested, and I was like, why are there 3 untested male DNAs? Is it because it's a police officer? And maybe that police officer was touching the scene, and that's why they're disqualifying him? Or is it someone they just assumed, like maybe they found Hunters and they're like, well, but he's always here. You know what I mean? They can only go with, I don't know why anybody's alibi is any better than anybody else's, but there are 3 untested male DNAs. And I think that's where the rumor came, was that everybody's saying that Dylan is trans because there was male DNA found. But I mean, there should have been a lot of like DNA around that house, not just 3 people, but they did specifically mention that, 3 male DNA.
Was one of the DNAs though what was found in the glove outside? So there was 2.
They didn't specify. He just said that there was 3 untested male DNAs, and I thought that was weird because, like, how are you not testing every DNA? It's a murder.
And Swamp, yes, you're right. One of them was actually deemed to be a DNA within the glove that was found outside, and then 2 relatively near the victims within the home. They didn't actually say exactly where they were found. And what's funny is when they turned that over to the defense, they didn't give the actual testing or any information in regards to the DNA. They gave them an actual CD that said possible DNA information on it. And then when the defense went to look at it, there was nothing on it. That's why they had to literally request and motion to get that information. And then
But they got his dad's DNA, right?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about what was found in the home.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about the actual specific other DNA samples that were unnamed and unverified DNA samples that were found in the home. They made up a story saying they never tested them. Then it was, we did test it. We figured they were male, but they were damaged. We couldn't move forward. But the whole funniest part of that story that, what people in the area were, what kind of fed it to me, was the prosecution gave a CD to the defense with what was supposedly information in regards to that. When the defense went to look at it, it was blank. There was nothing on it. That's why they had to motion back to the court to try to get the prosecution to give that information over. And that became obviously the battle that we all heard in court, to where they had that big excuse of how they couldn't do whatever with it. And then we've never heard another thing about it, which I think is absolutely crazy. Absolutely.
Well, AR, could the defense actually take those unknown samples and test them themselves if they had the funds, or are they not allowed to do that?
It's not even about having the funds. They can get their experts if the state still has that evidence. The defense has every right to go over. They put in through the court. They say, hey, we want X, Y, and Z DNA samples to be tested at such facility by our experts. The problem is the prosecution can come back with, well, we just don't have any more of it left. It's been used. It's gone. It's been destroyed. It's not valuable. It's not here anymore. And now the defense's only way they can combat that is obviously file the motions that they did to get the information through the courts to document that they're trying to get that. But then when it becomes trial time, they have their experts speak as to why it could possibly be damaged or what came about and why they're unable to present it. But that doesn't get your client. Let's say it was me in the defendant's chair and I'm battling for my life in the courtroom. It's not going to help me if my defense's attorney's only combativeness to that is, well, we really wanted to test that, but we couldn't. That doesn't get you off on the death penalty case, unfortunately.
And that's a good point I was going to bring up too. Why would somebody like Brian Koberger, knowing so much about what he's accused of, go to a state and commit that crime where there is a death penalty?
At the end of the day, and a lot of people asked me too when I was younger, and I crossed state lines into states that had much harsher sentencing guidelines than others. Sometimes you just don't think about it. You just go do something based on what you've either planned to do or what you wanted to do at the moment. And, I don't know what Brian Koberger's thought process is. I don't know him well enough to analyze the way he thinks or does things. At this point, I don't think anybody does, the guilters or the not guilters. We don't know. But when somebody says, why would you go commit a crime like that in a death penalty state compared to a not death penalty state? Well, I'll tell you what, I would rather go do it in a death penalty state rather than a not death penalty state, because I don't want to sit in prison for the next 80 years. Take me off the earth. If I got to do life with no possibility of going home, and I got to see everybody visiting their loved ones, talking to them on the phones, getting commissary money, living halfway decent, and they get to go home in the next couple of years compared to me, and I'm like a lifer, and I'm living on the same yard with people going home in 3 years. Well, this is going to be a rough ride, let me tell you. We're on death row. I got my own sanctuary. I got my own cell. I'm in my own pod with everybody that's just like me. Nobody's going home. We're all in the same boat. Plus, as a death penalty, do you know you have unlimited appeals? Unlimited. If you're not a death penalty case, if you're a lifetime with no parole case, you only have a handful. I would rather go battle it out in my appeals and maybe win and go home.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of reasons why capital crimes that relate into a death penalty case, you actually have more benefit than if you're looking at life without parole.
What's your thoughts on this, Kiki?
Well, it's interesting. I've actually heard that there's some people say they don't want to have the death penalty because life in prison, you might get more privileges, but this is a totally different perspective I'm hearing now. Like, for instance, Steve Goncalves, one of his concerns was if BK was sentenced to life in prison versus death penalty, then he could take on the same role as like BTK did, and he could write papers and help other people. He could get a reputation in prison for helping other people because he's smart and stuff. But if he was death row, he would then be locked in a cell for a certain amount of days. He's not in Gen Pop. He's, confined to his area. But it sounds like it's almost the opposite perspective from somebody who's been in the system. So I don't know.
Yeah, you also have to understand. So I was sentenced to a life sentence without the possibility of parole. I had to earn my parole. So my original sentence was 215 years with no parole. And I had to battle through the system to get the parole, to get less years, to get charges dropped, a lot of appeals. Where right on the other side of a slider that was actually an open barred slider, so I could hear everything on the other side of that slider. My cell is on the left, there's a slider, and right to the right of me is death row. 8 people on death row cells. They had 10 times more privileges than I did. 10 times. They had way better food. They got more rec time than I did. They got more phone call time than I did. Their life, even though it sucks, death row is not a peach. Trust me. They got pillows. I didn't get a pillow. They got extra store days, meaning they got stored twice a week. I only got it once a week. They actually had more privileges, and they got more visitation time than me. They had their own cell the entire time. Nobody could ever bother them. I think I would have gone that route. To be honest with you, if I was able to backtrack and say, hey, if I'm going to be dumb enough to get this many years, maybe I need to take it to the next level, which now I'm glad I didn't, because I was able to work the process and get above and learn and, win some appeals. But it's hard to look over there and see them actually, having church every day, where, heck, if I want church, I got it once a month. They got to go out on a little field area. They went out by themselves for rec, where they had a little grass and this and that. I had a 10 by 10 box that was concrete with a net over the top of it. It was 10 feet by 10 feet. All I could do was spin a circle in it. So I'm not sure I could really say, when people classify, well, you get more benefits, this, that. Yeah, I mean, I guess depending on what state you're in, yeah, maybe. But do you also realize when you're on the side that is life without parole and all these so-called extra benefits, your life's on the line every second? Every second your life is on the line, because you can get got at any time. Anytime. A guard just pops your door and inmates run in and you're done. It happens every day. On death row, that can't happen because it's completely monitored. It still happens, but it's when people go to medical or out of their area. It doesn't happen right in their own cell. So Brian Koberger, he knew all of this. I guarantee you, if he's the one that did it and he chose to do what he did, he researched all of that. He would know that. So I don't know. I've done time in.
Explain to Pia and Kiki your theory about the DNA that we discussed last night. Because there was only like a molecule found on the button snap. About the artificial creating of the DNA strand.
Yeah, and I think many people that have studied this realize that, understand, when you have minimal amounts of DNA, the investigators have labs, just like the IgG labs, the Othram labs, the different places that can recreate a DNA strand. That's why when Bill Thompson had to get up in front of the actual judge and say, it's not two different DNAs, Your Honor, it's a certain type of strand compared to another type of strand. It's because they generated a artificial strand that matches the actual DNA. They've used that against me in my own cases before. And our biggest argument and our biggest appeals are, well, what you did is you used a fake strand of DNA to convict me. That's why Brian Koberger's team is all over this IgG. They want to know, well, how real was the strand you used, or did you go to the artificial IgG strand that was manufactured in the lab to get more DNA than what you actually had to start with? Because their initial amount of DNA probably would be gone after one or two testings. So think about all the stops where that DNA got tested prior to it actually even getting to its final destination. And just think about the hassle of what happened if it got wiped off that sheath just while they're moving it. They didn't know the DNA was on that button until they finally found it there. There's too much that goes into that for that simple, very small bit of DNA that they're claiming they found. And I bet at the end of the day, let's just watch how this transpires. Watch how it's going to play out. They're going to have to clearly state, and that's what the defense wants the prosecution to say, is we had to manufacture a strand of artificial DNA based off a computer system that matches the DNA we pulled from the sheath that we no longer have any of. And that's where the defense is going to win the appeal, and it's just going to get wiped completely off, and that DNA is going to be wiped out. It's going to be gone. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Yeah. I'm a little distracted. It's in private chat. It's a private chat.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Go check private chat.
What's that?
I said go check private chat. I just gave an instruction to somebody.
Oh, okay. Cool. Okay. So yeah, I think that AR is correct. I couldn't even expand on it. I think he's absolutely correct. And it's a good point, because a lot of us don't know a lot about that. Like, every one of us on this panel, every one of us in this chat is valuable in some way to this case. And some of us understand things a lot better than others. And DNA, I know a little bit about DNA, but I'm not an expert. I don't even know specifically in this case if they have any blood DNA other than the victims. And if they did have DNA, is it mixed then? Do you know what I mean? With their blood and their blood? Because I don't know how they're just connecting it to one person, whether it's touch DNA or blood DNA.
Well,
it's just like my brain doesn't process those things, I guess.
I'll be real honest. In the cases that I dealt with, they have really good technology on separating the different bloods and the different things of that nature. So I would never look at that as being an issue within how they determine the DNAs. Where the issue is going to literally come down to it, this is why it's so important for the defense, and they've battled this from the very beginning. And I used to scream at people. They would come at me yelling about his guilt. They said, hold on, just be careful. Wait a minute. Wait till we get into the argument of the DNA on the sheath. And they would never understand why. I had this gut feeling they had to go in and manufacture an artificial strand of DNA. And one of the reasons why I felt that way is that's why they would have to go out and get the DNA from the father, because that's a part of building that artificial strand, is you have to be able to tie in the father's strand into the artificial strand. And that's why I just shook my head when everybody's like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's totally admissible. No, it's not. It's going to be inadmissible if the court handles it properly. It's completely inadmissible. But
Kiki,
we'll see
check,
what this judge.
Kiki, check back chat, please.
Okay.
I think she's reading public chat. She's just like trying to pay attention to everything.
Is there anything
Wait.
I need to?
Wait.
Oh.
I think I know what's going on now. Sorry.
Okay.
I just checked back chat too myself, guys. Sorry. I get I'm just I'm in a whole nother world, evidently.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah,
I have stuff I could
I was-
say, but I'll just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
I was watching one of your videos earlier, Strange, before I went to a birthday party for my now 19-year-old stepson, and my daughter comes in and she goes, Daddy. I'm like, what? She goes, who's that clown on your screen?
Oh my goodness. That's cool.
You know that
as long as she
Terry-
wasn't scared. Yeah.
Terry Martin actually asked a very good question in regards to the fact there's 3 states involved in
Right.
this crime
Why?
and the investigation. Wouldn't that make it over into an FBI-led investigation? And I'm sure a lot of you have actually seen the video I did. Who's actually in charge of the investigation? I
The
will
FBI,
make this statement because everybody probably knows out there I'm on lifetime federal parole. I did get charged as feds as well. The feds can charge you at any point in time. They don't have to do it immediately. They can do it 100 years from now. They could do it tomorrow. So they typically will take a step back and allow the state, who absolutely has jurisdiction, to house this individual while bigger investigations are happening. Now, within that bigger investigation, the FBI may deem that he's only a part of the crime. They may deem he has no part in the crime, or they may deem he's the sole person of the crime. At that point, they could bring charges the way that they want to bring it. But they're not forced at any point in time to take the lead. They're just staying involved and doing their investigation. I guarantee you, they're still investigating. This isn't over for them. So, just wait and see. And they could be actually the ones that, if Brian Koberger is found to not be a part of this crime, they would be the ones that came and released him and let him go. So,
Yeah,
It's interesting though. What 3 states is it?
so you would have Washington, you would have Idaho, and you have Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I was forgetting about
Pennsylvania's-
Pennsylvania.
A lot of people think Pennsylvania, when I say that, they say, well, Pennsylvania is involved because that's where they arrested him. That's where they broke into the parents' home. No, that's where they got so-called evidence that they have put into what they may use against Koberger, meaning things they found at his house, things in his car. You have to remember, they got his car in Pennsylvania. So now Pennsylvania is considered a crime scene because that's where they found his car. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So even if they don't have blood there, they don't have clothes, they don't have IDs from the victims, they don't have any of that stuff. They got the card there. That makes that state involved. Plus, of course, they got him there too. But that is what it is. So if that vehicle has any evidence in regards to this crime, he could be charged federally for moving that vehicle from Idaho to Pennsylvania by every state that he drove through. He could be charged. And he could be charged federally for it because he crossed all those state lines.
That's true.
So he could have a hell of a lot of charges. And the funny thing is they can arrest his dad too.
Yeah, that's what I was
Oh, you
thinking. Because
can?
it's his DNA, right?
They could arrest his father because he rode in the vehicle with a murder suspect. That if he is found guilty of committing the crime, it's aiding and abetting a criminal.
Oh yeah, across all those state lines.
Yeah. Plus, if he
Yep.
paid for gas one time, if he bought lunch one time, that's aiding and abetting. It sucks. Trust me. They got my mom one time when I was young. They scared the daylights out of her. They're like, we could arrest you. And here's my little church mom, 65 years old, shaking in her boots, going, "What do you mean you could arrest me? What'd I do?" Well, you rode in his car across state lines. You bought him lunch. That's aiding and abetting a criminal. So they could take his dad into custody right now if they want to. They could take his mom in custody if she made him dinner at the house. That's all aiding and abetting.
Now, see
Hopefully
what
they
I
don't
can't
do that.
figure. Now, see what I can't figure out is why they would do, why they would do a no knock warrant.
That's the most ridiculous thing I ever saw, too, because, literally, grab him. You say you watched him walking all this stuff out to the trash can. Could have grabbed him then. You say you watched him cleaning his car out. Could have grabbed him then. You could have saved all of the hassle of all this stuff, but instead, you literally had to put the family through that big old spectacle that nobody needed to see. Nobody needed to see that. His family didn't deserve that.
No.
His mom and dad don't deserve that type of literally put on blast. Here, they're good people. You know what I mean? They don't deserve that.
But
That's really
because it was the dad's DNA, that means it could be any of his children, right? Because I think a little bit outside the box because I was in the haunted house industry, and people collect things, right? And his sister was in an independent movie, and she was holding a big knife, so it could be a number of things that we're not even considering. You know what I mean? She was in some movie. What was it called? Dang it. A day before or something, Bob just said he popped in the room, and it's like she's like, I don't know if she's the killer or she's killing the killer, but the part that I saw, she was like holding the knife and she looked crazy. So like it is like my own daughter, I'm not going to say her name, but she did collect something that I think is very strange. She collected a souvenir from a serial killer, and it was completely bought legally online, and there was blood on it. You know what I mean?
right.
And
Yep.
we were shocked. We were shocked. But like people do find interest in like horror movies, and like they want to have the mask that Freddy Krueger wore, or they want, you know what I mean? Something like that. Like the whole premise of the movie was killing with a knife. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it could be all kinds of things. It could be somebody who was adopted out in their family and happens to be in Idaho. The world's a lot smaller than we think, you know?
Yeah. See, I've heard rumors that Brian has a cousin that lives out there in Idaho. I'm not for certain on that, but I've heard that there was a rumor that he has a cousin that lives there in Idaho.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know.
he does have a cousin?
Well, that's the rumor going around that he had a cousin that lives out there in Idaho.
Oh,
I know he has family in Nevada, so that's not far from Idaho. It would be hard, I guess, for one of them to go up and get their education up there. But to kind of backpack a little bit off of what you said, Strange. When I was in the penitentiary, do you know people would offer us inmates thousands of dollars on our books if we could just get a prison outfit of one of the serial killers
Yeah.
that was housed
Yeah.
there, or hey, grab like they would hear about a prison fight or a shanking that happened on the ark. If you could get us that shank, we'll put $5,000 on your spending account. It's like, really? I'll just give you my shank and claim it as the
Right.
one. Send me that money. You got it, dude. But
Yeah,
that's how sickening it could get. Is if you can get artifacts from someone, they'll pay for it. They really will.
Yeah, they will. Like in a heartbeat. Just because it's like Jeff H just said in the chat, like maybe like I don't know, a minute or two ago, he said who wouldn't want the 1122 address on the house? He said that he would even want that. It's just a piece of history. Do you know what I mean? It's just like
I'm
it's
telling
weird,
you that would
but people do it. You know,
that would go for so much money,
yeah, like $1
so
million
much money.
easy.
Yeah, I mean, there's just or a piece of the wall, unfortunately, that had blood drops on it that could be,
Right.
you know,
You're talking about the
oh, man.
foundation.
Just like when
Yeah,
people
that,
wanted a piece of the wall when it came down in Germany and like 9/11, all that stuff. It's just like people are interested in that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Some people look for dinosaur bones, some people look for stuff like that.
yeah, and I also know too, like when I was being housed in Arizona, we had 2 serial killers that were really well known just on like the run with me. We had the baseline rapist, Mark Cadeau, and we had Jeff Hausner, who was the baseline shooter. And they were going at the same time in Phoenix, Arizona. They were attacking and doing things. And I still remember receiving a letter because I was just on my way through the state to go back to California to be housed in California. And I was going to do like a year and a half or 2 years in Arizona. And I remember receiving a letter, I'll give you $100,000 if you can get that guy to off himself. Whatever you got to do, all I need is that proof that Arizona DOC states he offed himself, and I'll give you $100,000. I'm thinking, well, if I'm serving the rest of my life, and this guy's a pedophile anyway, yeah, this isn't a hard one, But that's the sickening nature of these people would want anything and everything if it gets them a little notoriety from a case like this. And it
Kiki,
makes me
sit back
sick.
that.
So Eric Pascal asked me if someone put $5,000 in my commissary account, would that bring a red flag in the penitentiary? I mean, I don't like to discuss it a lot, but with a lot of the things I was into in the penitentiary and the capabilities I had and the affiliation I was with, I never had less than $250,000 on my book, and I had between $40,000 and $60,000 a month coming onto my books that I would hand sign and send out to 8 different PO boxes outside of the penitentiary to get other people that I care about money. So my wife, I was able to buy her a house. I bought her cars. I paid for her college, all just based off an income that I earned on the penitentiary yard. So that'll give you kind of an idea of the finances that could flow through. And that was just my cut. So you have to think other people were making money too. That was just my cut. So $5,000 on a commissary account, it depends on who you are. On whether they're even going to look at it, because I was so known for my actions and the things I did, and I was always on disciplinary anyway. It didn't matter to me that they would look. They couldn't take it unless it was investigated and they found that I was being paid for certain type of actions. So you got to prove that, and I have to go to court. I would have to be charged with that, and they luckily, I only got caught twice, and I got extra time for it. I was bringing in cell phones at one point. I got caught with 58 cell phones that I was selling for $4,000 a piece, and you had to pay me $250 a month for the phone line. So I was making a killing on those, and I got caught with 58 of them on the yard.
There's
And
a
then
question for you on the screen, AR. A convict's thoughts with AR Hayes. I can't remember where I read this, but the FBI didn't want to be a big part of this due to MPD doing such an embarrassing and botchy job. That came from Terry Martin.
Yeah, I know, in my opinion, I believe the FBI put up their hands and said, "Hey, you guys are doing such a bad job. I don't want any part of this." But I'd love to hear both of you like all of you guys. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, Yeah, I tend to agree with Steve G that the MPD was like way in over their heads with this case. Because I mean, technically, the MPD is like 30 to 40 officers tops, and like what you and I went through last night, AR, with you know, they're basically charging the state of Idaho for everything. You missed it last night, Pia. We went through this. We went through this video, and the University of Idaho is charging the state of Idaho for everything that they've had to do over the course of the murders. They even charged the state of Idaho for the vigil.
Why?
So they could get a $1 million subsidy from the Board of Education there in Idaho, and so they all they had was $220,000 budget that they could go off of. So what Scott Green did was he turned around and charged the state of Idaho for security, for food and lodging, for ISP officers, for the house, for the vigil, for a whole bunch of stuff. And the state of Idaho gave the college $1 million to help foot the bill.
Right, and it's still not any safer, right?
Yeah.
Interestingly.
Hey, Kiki, are you still with us?
Yeah.
Is she on mute?
I'm right
Yeah.
here. You guys, I'm having such a good time with you tonight, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to dip out of the stream. It's such an honor to be on with all of you and to hear all of your insight. And I just want to thank you so much for having me on tonight.
Hey, we're excited.
You're always welcome here, Kiki.
Thank you so much. And
thanks for being on panel. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on panel, Kiki.
Well, it's great to see all of you.
Let's get together, Kiki, behind the scenes and see if we could work on something. I'd love to come over and see your channel and see everything you do, and I would like to work with you a little bit.
In particular, I totally agree. And AR, I really want to know more about the new case next time we stream. I'll get together in the background, and I appreciate all your insight tonight. Thank you for everything. And Robert, thanks for having me on. And Pia, as always, it's always fun when Strange is in the house. So
thank you.
I will see you all soon. Take care.
Hey, take care. Thank you. She's amazing. She really is. Now we're all quiet. It's like, oh, now we have to be sad. Yeah.
We're like,
P is like, yeah, Bob and Albert. Oh my God. No, and it's great. It's great when you get to intertwine with people that you normally don't get to. Like I haven't got to discuss things or hear her thoughts on many things, and it's always really cool. Just like the first time you and I were able to do it, Pia, and also you, Bob, where we get to kind of learn a little bit about each other, feel each other out, learn, and she's really cool. I really look forward to all of us getting together with her again soon. So
yeah, I like her style. It reminds me of Christina Randall's style. Very professional.
Oh yeah,
she's very good. Yeah, very, very good. I know I come across as the most unprofessional when it comes to this, which is okay. I'm good with that. But, it's always good to have the diversity. We're all, and I think Bob and I talked about this, and Pia, I'm glad you're here. We're all different, and we have different thoughts, and we have different feelings, we have different emotions. But the cool thing is we all respect each other, support that, so that we can see it from so many different ways and discuss it. Just because I might not agree with something doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means I just maybe don't see it that way. And that's not a big deal, because now we're all learning. And that's what's cool about this. We respect each other enough to learn from each other and have fun while doing it. So
Yeah. Uh, I've been I've been thinking about what we watched earlier with the whole Steve G interview, and Pierre, what's your thoughts on what he meant by different layers of opening to investigators? Could it be
Well,
drugs? Could it, like you said, could it be like sex trafficking, human trafficking?
well,
And they're still
now
collecting
that
data.
now that you brought up the fact that she like reported seeing a missing person, that makes me think that maybe she knew too much about something, or somebody thought, you know what I mean? She knew too much about something.
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of oddity. I mean, if you really listen to every word said, you think you start to piece it together, and then you listen a
And
little bit more,
yep.
and then you realize you're not piecing it together, and it's like, how the hell do I put all this together? I don't understand.
Right, it's like a puzzle with all the wrong pieces in it. That's what I think. I think we're looking
Yeah.
like everybody's like kind of in agreement that it could be frat related. It could be something to do with the Linda Lane footage or the audio or witnesses or whatever. But I feel like we should think way outside the box. You know what I mean? Way outside the box, because we know that we're not given any of the stuff they're going to use in court. They're not going to release that stuff. So I feel
No.
like, okay, we're all concentrating on Linda Lane. We're concentrating on certain people and certain alleged facts, and maybe we should consider like off the wall things as well. You know, like maybe someone just wanted to be someone's boyfriend, and then maybe that was Xana because she had a boyfriend, or maybe Kaylee was cheating on Jack. Something a young person would get upset for. But if you ask me, these are brutal crimes. I do think it has to do with the frat in a way, but I don't think that they AR, I think you know what I'm talking about. There's a certain organization that is very brutal and likes to display their crimes. And it's not frat boys. You know what I mean? There are people that like will take people's lives and put them up publicly.
Yeah, a lot of people have reached out to me behind the scenes because of my past, and they know I've been involved. I even at one point, I had to laugh. I had to stop because there were some people that put out there that I was a part of the cartel. I knew the cartel.
That's what I
I
was
knew
talking
that,
about. Yeah.
and I knew about, people in the affiliations because, I mean, people know Jesse James Bailey and who he was affiliated with outside of the thought that he was cartel, but he actually had a deemed
Yeah, you knew
100%
him, right?
affiliation. Yes, I did. And it's like I get the lifestyle, I understand it. So when people question it, they also have to understand that I can't just openly discuss all of their business because that puts my family and myself at risk. I'm better off keeping my mouth shut. You know what I mean? It's like I'll just stay quiet on this one, but it's there is so much that could just happen within so many different spectrums. It's hard to pick one and say, well, this is the exact one that did it, but you could also say it's a culmination of all of them, little pieces of them coming together to handle something and shut it up right there. Like it's got to be quieted right now, and we all have a piece of this pie, so we're all involved. So it's
Yeah.
like I get the entirety of the possibilities because I've been around it. I know. Why do you think I was sentenced to so many years in the penitentiary? It's not because I was just the greatest kid on the block. I wasn't out selling ice cream and candy bars on the corner. I mean,
Right.
I wish I was, but that's not why I got in trouble. So, it's like I get it, I understand it, and I can hear people. I listen, I hear what people talk about. I don't always give my 2 cents because I know. Um, so it's like I have to be careful what I allow myself to get engaged with because I also have the trolls out there on YouTube that want to make videos that I'm still a part of some, white supremacist gang, and I don't know if you guys all saw that.
Oh,
That's
you better
ridiculous.
tell Jen that, hey?
Jen at least knows my whole past, but Jen also is the one
Right,
that
but
put
you
her foot
can't
down.
be. You can't be a
No, I
white
can't.
supremacist.
No,
Yeah.
I can't. I'm married to a Mexican. I mean,
That's
come
what
on.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You better let her know, because I'm sure she doesn't know that. There's no way
Right,
that
yeah.
you're involved in that. And I do know in prison, I do know a few people who have been to prison, and it's not really a choice, if I'm understanding correctly. If you talk to, like, a black person talks to a white person, or a white person talks to a black person, whether you're cool with black people or not, you're supposed to stay pretty separate. Are you not?
Yeah,
In
absolutely.
prison. And it's
Yeah,
not anything about your morality or anything, but you just don't want to get hurt. You know what I mean? You just want to just get
well,
out of there.
many of the states that you do time in are they're racially segregated. So depending on what race you are, you have to stay with that race. You eat with them, you go to church with them, you do everything with them. You don't intertwine yourself with the other races. It's not that you're racist or any of that. It's just the rules of where you're at.
Right,
And
and not
other
rules
people,
that you created, rules that were
right?
already there. Yeah.
Right. And at times in life, we make decisions based upon where we're at and what's going on around us. And when I met Jennifer, I made the decision I was going to stand on my own 2 feet. I was going to do my own time. I wasn't going to be affiliated with anybody. I didn't have any racial beliefs. But I was going to do my own time. I was going to walk my own way. So for people now to come out and try to point the finger and say this or that, I mean, it's just stupidity is really all it is, and it just needs
Right,
to
and
stop.
why even focus on your personal life? Why are they even trying to,
Right,
like, you know what I
right.
mean? Like, we're talking about true crime. Why are they even, like, look, they should be looking into the case and not into us, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, if you disagree with me in regards to the Idaho 4 case, that's absolutely your right, and I will absolutely respect that. You don't have to agree with me, but we don't need to make it personal, ever.
Right. It's
You
weird.
don't need you don't need to bring someone's family member into the mix.
That's
Just
right.
like, Robert, I absolutely respect you. I should never, ever, if I have a disagreement with you, bring your daughter into a conversation. Ever. There's no point. All I have to say is, hey, I disagree with you personally. But we don't have to get personal about it. We just have to say we disagree and move along. If we can't talk about something, move on. That's
Yeah.
okay. I don't agree with 98% of YouTube. So I just don't involve myself with 98% of YouTube. It's okay to be that way. And I wish more people would do that. If you
Yeah.
disagree with it or you don't like it, that's cool. There's other channels that you will like and they'll like you. Go hang out. Go hang out.
Yes, Rock
You know,
Chalk. Rock Chalk's up here.
Oh, hi, Rock Chalk.
Hello. How's
and there
everybody
she
doing?
is.
I'm really enjoying the chat. Hey, I was going to ask about chat, but I'm going to ask you anyway, AR, because you'll remember the guy that we had to boot yesterday. Can you look in
I
back chat
do.
and tell me if that's the name? Do you remember the name off the top of
Yeah,
your head?
it is. Yeah, that's when we had
Okay,
a
why is he
discussion about.
back? I don't understand why he's back,
I
and he's
don't
got
I
me
think
I
he
don't
blocked.
was
know.
on her
Yeah,
stream, I think.
he was on Kiki's stream, and
He's here
I
now,
just
but he's got me blocked. So,
Oh
um,
boy.
let me handle this. To the mods, Michael Donnell, you are not welcome here. You were told that last night, and you've got me blocked. If any of the mods can see Michael O'Donnell, he was told last night he is not welcome here. And AR, actually, go ahead and tell him what you told him again last night, please.
Yeah, you're a fool, man. Like I thought we already had this discussion. I don't even know why he would want to come back. Just go ahead and move on, bud. There's many other places for you. There's many other people that will chat with you, and you'll be fine. I think he actually came in from the other stream though, because I'm seeing
yeah, he
people
did.
saying that he's blocked. So we as a community, and I think it's great that we're all putting our minds together because we need to stand for each other. This isn't an individual thing out here, guys, and we all can profit. We can make our the financial means that we want to do for our channel. My goals might be different. Mine are probably less because I work less than you guys do, and I know you guys try to build what you're doing, and that's great. I support you 100%. And together, we can all lift each other up. We can build a community of people that love and adore us. And if any of us find somebody within this community that doesn't fit, we all boot them. We get rid of the problem, get rid of the drama, protect each other, and just trust with the beliefs. And Jeff H, I'm just going to say it this way, man.
Yeah,
I
I
see
was
what
just
you're
gonna say
saying.
that.
I see, Jeff, you know me. If I make a statement that I'm not going to engage with someone and I don't want them around me, there's a good reason behind that. And I would think with the
Yeah,
conversation you and I have had, we've built enough trust that you should just have to understand that I've made that decision for myself, and it seems like the other content creators here as well. If you want them on your channel, we support you for that. We made the decision to not have it here. So
Strange, look at back chat,
Hold on.
please.
I did.
Okay.
And Robert, I know this is your channel. Pia, I'm protective of your channel as well. I love both of you, and I want you guys to have free reign and enjoy everything you do. And I want everybody in the chat to love you guys, but I'm going to be protected. If somebody's disrespecting your space and I'm there and I see it, I'm going to call it out.
I
I'll
appreciate
let you
that.
guys know, but I'm going to call them out because you guys work too hard to have to think about that or have to endure
Yeah.
that. And I want you guys to focus on everything you're doing and the great crowd that you have and building your channels and loving every minute of it and the success that you're having. If I don't like somebody, I'll boot them. I'll get them gone. Don't worry.
Well, not
Yeah,
only that, AR, if you're booting them, you're booting them for a reason. And
Right.
I'm not going to repeat everything he was saying in here last night, but
Right.
I'm sure Strange, everybody else, if
yeah,
they're going to act that way in this channel, they're going to act that way in your channel. And AR, I'm sure
Yeah.
Robert, I know I do. I appreciate you bringing them to my attention. And I thought that
Yeah.
was him, but he's got me blocked. So, but he was in here. They could see him making remarks. So I appreciate you.
And again, I'm just gonna, Jeff. Again, I'm gonna make this very simple. It's very, very simple. It's nothing about relating to being booted. Okay, I get there's been some issues. I know you're a Christian man. You and I have had amazing conversations, and you've been a true friend outside of the YouTube community to me to help me defuse, get mentally more stable, and I'm appreciative of that. There were things said by this individual that far exceed what needs to be around this. We can handle a debate. We can handle a difference of opinion. We can handle certain things. But when you attack through your wording certain spectrums of life that are
right.
off limits, religion, race, color, sexual nature, anything of that nature, you are not welcome in my book. And I'm going to just even if they don't want to ban that person, I'm going to run them off because that's not welcome in this community.
Exactly.
No.
Everybody's loved, everybody's accepted, except for those who don't even have the personal respect to carry themselves in an appropriate manner on somebody else's channel.
Terry Martin's is asking if you guys would help her tomorrow afternoon.
I have a live tomorrow afternoon, so I don't know if I can. I have it at 4:20 Eastern. That's when I'm doing it. If it's before that, what do you need help with?
yeah, I mean, I'm more than willing to help in any way I can. Just need to have to let me know.
Yeah, Mods, if you see that dude is still in chat, get him out.
Yeah, he'll get your video flagged. He'll get everything flagged on your stuff because he comes in my lives and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to work," and I'm like, "Okay, thanks for the update." That's all he ever says. But then in the comments, he does use a term that I had to Google, and I won't say it, but it's disgusting. It has to do with women parts and stuff on them, and I had to Google it, and I just figured it out. Like you can't comment sexually explicit things on people's videos, obviously. And
No,
that's what he does that.
be respectful, and you'll always be respected. Get disrespectful, and guess what? The people that don't like disrespect are going to speak up, and then you're not going to want to be around it anyway. So just move on. Just instead of
Exactly.
being disrespectful, just move on. It's simple. It's
Right? There's
simple.
thousands of channels to choose from, millions of channels.
Yeah, I mean, and go find them and
Take a
enjoy
walk.
them. And just all of you within those channels, when you find that perfect one that suits your disrespect levels, all of you could battle all day and disrespect each other. Just have a
Right.
blast doing it. Don't bring it here, though. I'm not going to
Yeah,
let
there's
anybody.
entire channels dedicated to that. It's
There
Yeah.
is.
disgusting.
You know,
Why?
I was gonna say Rolo is the same way. He uses some of the worst words I've ever seen, but I can't zap him over in that other channel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and see, I
But
didn't,
He does
I
too,
didn't
yeah.
know. Yeah, I didn't know Kiki was going to be dual streaming. Nobody
yeah,
told
well,
me.
he uses the word "in" and the F, agate,
Yep.
and
Yep.
Sipa is one of my best friends for one, but I have a lot of African American friends too, and I'm not okay with them words at all.
Yeah, I'm never okay with those two words.
So
Just so
Yeah,
everybody in chat knows, I accept people no matter their color, anything at all. I promise you, I respect everybody, and I will never use those words on my channel.
nor
I
will
think
you
a lot.
let people use them words, correct?
What'd you
Correct.
say?
No,
You don't let people
nobody.
use them words either, right?
Never,
No.
never,
Okay.
ever. No,
Okay.
I
I
won't
was
tolerate it, and I won't be associated with it.
I was
I
back and
think
forth, guys, trying to get it, and I just couldn't get it all. I was really trying.
I think a lot of
Yeah.
people realize I don't even cuss on my videos. I don't cuss during my
Yep.
lives. I try to keep it just straightforward, across the board, respectful, so everybody could feel comfortable. And I'll even tell you this: I will not disrespect another race. I won't say another race's name or, crazy whatever terminology people like to use. I don't go against different sexual preferences. None of that's my business. I judge people by the person you are, the way you talk and handle yourself. And I'm not judging you. I'm just getting to know you. And if we click, we click. If we don't, we don't. Doesn't mean I'm going to disrespect you. So, it is what it is. But
Well, we
hopefully
all
we've
got to
got that
work
rectified.
together. Yeah, everybody's
Yeah.
got to work together, and we got to keep. I don't know about you guys, but I am done with all this craziness and these attacks and all the
I am
bullshit.
too.
And I do cuss, so I'll try to rein it down. But we all got to work together, and I really love the panel you guys got, and I love Kiki. Like she's a
Yeah,
real
I
she's
do
sweetheart.
lovely.
too.
And maybe
Yeah.
she don't know about Rolo and the stuff he was commenting, but
Yeah.
yeah, it made it kind of hard.
She has a really big heart.
She does. I think she's a super lady, and I think she's a super sweetheart. But I also have been around Rolo, and I know what he posts. So
I just don't.
I
I just cannot respect anybody who talks like that. It's just
I'm just, guys, I'm done with all the sideways drama across the board. Like I've
yeah.
said,
yeah.
nobody
Oh,
don't come talking to me about another content creator. Let that content creator come talk to me. Or a person or anything of that nature. Like I've nullified. Man, I hate to say this. There's just not that many channels I'm gonna be frequenting and in the chats, and that's sad. But I'm distancing myself for a little while to protect everybody. To protect
Yeah.
everybody.
yeah.
Pia, I
Robert
love
was a little
you.
stressed today, and I want to bring this up.
What's up?
In the YouTube streets because Robert is doing good. Um, and I love Robert, or I wouldn't be helping him. But just so you guys know, I'm not Michelle. I'm Rock.
Yeah,
AR,
I'm not
you know
either.
that. Strange, you know that.
Yeah.
You saw me. And I want to put that to rest right now. I am not Michelle, and I'm not trying to talk about her by any means, but that rumor that's going around is not true. And I am helping Robert, and I love Robert, and I don't mind. I would help all of you. You guys know that.
You
But
help a lot of people.
I do, and that's just
And
how I am. I've got a good heart, but I want it out there. If you hear that, please debunk it because I've had so much drama today over it, and I'm really stressed out over it, and I don't get stressed out. But
and you shouldn't
anyway,
have to either. You shouldn't have to.
it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming.
Rock, tell
And
him
I'm
what
going
I
to add
was.
to that's
Yeah,
go
Rock,
ahead.
tell him what I was actually thinking about after you told me everything.
Well, I know you was depressed.
It's sad. You know what I mean? It's sad that people would. The saddest part. I mean, no matter whose feelings get hurt, no matter how many trolls we have, and no matter how many crazy people email us or whatever, we're still people. You know what I mean? We're still gonna feel that. And no matter how many trolls there are, it's not gonna change who I am as a person.
Right, and there's so many people out there, and listen, it happened on my TikTok. Well, I don't know why you're upset, Rock. This is just the internet. No, it's not the internet, just the internet. I am a person. I am a person.
Right?
And
With
the
feelings.
things you're doing, like saving my granddaughter's pictures to your personal, I have a problem. What's a 4-year-old need to be in your favorites for? And that was a
Unless it's like a
creator.
missing kid or something, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not cool with any of that. I'm not cool with any attacks on anybody. AR will tell you that. Even if I
Yeah.
don't like you,
Yeah, or
I'll be the
trying to
first one
intrude
that
on their
stands up.
life. Yeah.
Do what?
I said not trying to. Nobody should be trying to intrude on anybody's personal life. You
No,
know what I
and
mean?
misery enjoys company. And you know what?
Yeah, it does.
Strange, I'm gonna be at your channel tomorrow at 4:20,
Thank
and
you.
I'm gonna be ready to enjoy it. And girl, you got it happening, and so does AR. AR
Thank
will
you.
tell you when he was really at the high of his numbers, that's when the attacks come out. And I told Robert that today, and I told him when we started this, when you start doing good, these attacks will come from everywhere. Everywhere. Misery enjoys company for one, and there's some people out here that don't think there's enough subs for all the creators, so they try to destroy the creators, and it is sad.
Yeah.
And there's at least 10 today that has been discussed that are getting attacked very heavily, and
Well, and
it's a
I mean,
shame.
I can bring up the point. My views have fallen from 15,000
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Why?
1,000 views of video. If I get to that, I lost a little over 2,000 subscribers. I've had people call in and charge back on their credit card that bought
Whoa.
super stickers, that bought a membership. So I've been nailed financially for that. And I'm not complaining, guys. I'm not complaining at all. I'm just saying these are the type of things that happen. And I have one very clear message for anybody that you have to get to know me. I have no issue with any other creator, even if I have a disagreement with them. There is no drama, no issue. I just walk away, keep my mouth shut, and move forward. I do not have an issue with anybody because I don't care enough to have that issue. I have the capability to put one foot in front of the other and walk away. And I'm okay doing that. I've unsubscribed from quite a few other creators in the last couple of days, not only for my own benefit, but to give them the space as well. If we don't get along and it creates drama and you want to talk that drama, I'll just walk away. It's okay. It's
Right.
all
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
I would like to add, and I say this a lot, and I've said it for a long time. For every action, they're looking for a reaction. Do not give them the reaction. Eventually, they'll quit. Just know, everybody on this panel, you've got a lot of people backing you. Don't let anybody bring you down, because we got a pretty good crew here, and we will go to bat for each and every one of you.
I'm a
And
pretty new YouTuber. I have a question about all this. Like, how do you, like, AR? You have a lot of views missing. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to me. We had the same thing happen with our last video. We usually get like 4,000 or 5,000 views, and we got under 2. And I was like, "What the hell's going on? Do people like how do you stop exposure of somebody's video? Is that possible? Do you flag it, or do you? I don't understand."
Yeah, there's people that will negative comments can add up. So literally, if you do a video and you get 20 negative comments on it, YouTube will take you out of the algorithm.
Okay, so people can just do that to ruin your channel.
Yeah, and it really sucks. Yeah, it really sucks that
Right, all
that
the
can
work we
happen.
put into that.
I'm
God.
telling you, like I was gonna walk away. I went. My wife and I were sitting there looking. And I go 15,000 views, 27,000 views, 14,000 views, 300 views, 200 views, 100 views. Wait a minute, what's going on? So then I'm looking at everything, and I'm like, wait a minute. And Jen was furious. I had $1,300 of chargebacks.
That's horrible.
I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't even know you could do that. And I'm thinking, wait, how did I get $1,300 of chargebacks? I don't have that many members. How's that possible? When somebody charges back and they're a member or there's someone that bought some sort of whatever, super sticker, okay, and they remove themselves through a complaint from your channel, all of the views that they have all across the board on your page come off, and YouTube will deduct money for the loss of views, just like they pay you for the views.
Oh my God! What kind of
they'll
they
take,
do? Yeah.
yeah, they'll take money back for that. So I had a video that I was doing just fine on. It was like 18,000 views, and YouTube emailed me and said, we're yanking this out of the algorithm for one. You've had 3 people charge back that did supers on this video. So we're pulling it out of the algorithm, and you owe us $890. How would you like to pay that?
What the hell? I'd be like, I'm not going to.
That's why I told him. I said, can't you just take it from my upcoming money coming? And they said, well, your videos aren't going to be in the algorithm for a month. You got a 30-day suspension from the algorithm. So if you guys go look at my actual videos, you will see that whole time frame I was out of the algorithm. And it killed me. It killed me.
I think it's happening to us like right now. And I'm like, what did we do? I'm trying to figure out, like, going through the videos, listening to what I said, because Bob points out sometimes I say things that I'm supposed to like say in other terms. So I'm like trying to like, okay, did I say something? Did I do something? And I look through it, and it's got that little yellow thing. You know what I mean? The yellow $sign. And I'm like, what did I do? But then I wondered, like, could somebody be sabotaging it somehow?
Yeah, look in your back chat. Look in the back chat.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
And that's exactly it. It's exactly it, because that's exactly what happened to me. So
wow. I have another question. Bianca had a question, and I don't know this answer, but she had to zap quite a few comments that was inappropriate. When she zaps them, does that still count against, or if she zapped them in time, is it okay?
No, you're fine. You're fine.
There you go, Bianca. Thank you, AR.
Fine. Yep. Nope. In a live, it's a totally different situation than what's on actual videos. A live, you have a little more leeway in regards to how quick you have to catch it. Meaning, if you let an individual in your live make like 4 or 5 derogatory statements throughout, a certain time frame, and you don't get to it quick enough, meaning they want you to zap that person or put them on timeout, if you don't do it quick enough, your live will be demonetized.
Oh no. So yeah, keep Mike O'Donnell out of your lives.
Yes.
So if you realize, if any of you ever content creators, because I'm pretty experienced at this, I've been docked a couple of times already. So if you go into your live and you've set all the parameters as being monetized and you've set everything up, the time, and you got your thumbnail, and you got everything going, and then you do your live and everything seems to be good, if you go back the very next day, you will see where that live, the symbol where the monetization typically shows, has become a different symbol color. You're no longer monetized. And then you have to go through that. You have to figure out to why. And it's very hard to figure out to why because YouTube doesn't want to tell you why. But
Right.
once that's demonetized, that live is demonetized. One, you'll never get the monetization back on that. You can lose your super chat money on that. Normally you don't. You could if you're not careful. But it could also be taking your next live or your next 3 videos out of monetization eligibility.
Oh my God.
So, you know, I did in the month of March, or not March, I'm sorry, January, I did very few videos because none of them were monetized. They show monetized, but none of them were monetized because I was on trouble status because of other people's issues on my page. Plus, someone on their live used my name on their thumbnail with white supremacist imagery. So that cost me too. Even though I had nothing to do with that, that got me too. And that's not fair. That's really not fair. But
Yeah, it's
Thank
not
you,
cool.
Melissa Morales, for the super sticker. Melissa Morales just
That is Mimo. She is a really sweetheart. Much love.
yeah,
Listen,
thank you for doing that.
strange NAR. I can promise you, there's a group of about 30 of us, and you'll be seeing us. We love to
Good.
go to great channels, and everybody's very, very supportive. Very supportive. I'm sorry today has been so crazy. Yesterday it seems to have been crazy, but it starts somewhere to stop it. And you guys got a really good group right here, and we're gonna stop it. We're not gonna let it affect us. Keep moving on and doing your best. That's all you can do, and people love it. AR,
Yep.
get your head up.
I'm excited. Like I'm getting back into it. Jen and I talked for hours last night. We've got great game plans of where we want to go, what we want to do. I'm excited about that. So you guys will be seeing me. I'll be diving back in quite a bit more, back to my old self on the actual work habits, which will be great.
Right, and
So
you wanted a
uh,
panel of your own, and you wanted people to come. It didn't work out that day. I was late at the dentist. If you want to set that up again, I mean, I'm down to come. I know Robert is. I can't speak for Robert. Told me he's down to come. I don't
yeah.
know. I'm sure Strange is. You just let us know. We'll be there for you, buddy.
Yeah, I
I
just never
appreciate
know
it.
what time, and I put my notifications on for you, and I never get them. Like I have
Yeah,
it set
and
to all.
I've had a lot of people tell me that very thing, and it's probably because I was in trouble. So people have to go in,
Oh,
unclick the notifications, and click back on it so that you'll get my notifications again. And I do promise I'll be working harder to get more content out there again. To answer Terry Martin, that's fine. I'm more than happy to help you. Um, 11 to 3 Eastern Standard Time. Just let me know. You don't have to pay. Help somebody else out, and I'm more than willing to help you out. Anybody, if there's anything I could ever do to help anybody out, I'm all about it. So,
Yeah. Hey, I
um,
meant to tell you something, AR. I forgot this too. You said you was going around to the parks and things and taking your
mhm.
dogs and seeing different things, and you've been in Vegas for 2 years. Have you been to the Shelby Museum?
No, I don't think I have.
It is the actual Mustang Shelby Museum. I'm sure there's quite a few. It's free, and you can even go back while they're building the cars. But it's got them way back to the very first Mustang there, and it's right by the Miller Coors distributorship. Go there. It is so cool. There's also a show that is on the Discovery, and the guy puts horns on all the vehicles and he remakes them like old vans and stuff. That's over there too, and that's free. and you said you was going to do some exciting different things. I think your people would really enjoy them places too, especially the Shelby Museum. It is cool. Very, very cool.
That's a great idea. I mean, I don't know how many people out there that know that Jen and I set up the side YouTube page that Jen's more control of than me, but it's the 3 dogs on Vegas. It's called Pity Stripping or something, right? Somebody would know more than me, but yeah, that's what our
Maybe
whole
one of
goal
our
is.
mods can find it. Do you know what it's under?
I think it's Pity's Go Stripping.
Can somebody look and see if there's a Pity's Go Stripping? Yeah, because I would be interested in that channel. And like I said, I used to spend months in Vegas, so I've got some really cool places that I think you would really enjoy going and your people would enjoy going.
We just did a live from the Bellagio with the, you know, the really cool inside of the flowers in the Bellagio
Yeah,
and stuff
that's where
of
I
that
stay,
nature.
right by the fountains.
Yeah, I love the area. We're at the Badara right now, so it's one of my
Nice. I
favorite
stay at
places.
Caesars
the
a lot
Badara.
too, and my host always puts me right at the right level. And every 15 minutes, there's another show with the fountains, and it's always different. If anybody's ever interested, just YouTube the fountains at Bellagio. You would not believe the work that goes into it. There's like 15 people under the water with scuba gear doing stuff.
Whoa.
It's awesome. Awesome to learn about.
I bet the
Maybe
dogs
Strange
love
someday
that.
we can go.
Yeah, I bet the dogs love that. All the water flying up like that and all the lights and stuff.
Yeah, no, they do. They do,
They
and
deny us as you are. They deny us as you are the news. Much respect.
What is it?
Calling us, they deny us. Said you are the news. Much respect.
Strange, I see your comment there about the 8,000 returning viewers. I wish they would
Yeah.
press subscribe. I'd love to
It's
have as many
weird.
eyes and ears on these cases, and I take content requests for any cases. There's one that Ashley, I love Ashley, but there's one that she's really interested in, and AR's talked about it and did a little bit, and maybe we can do it as a group and even dual stream if you wanted to.
What is it?
It's the fans only one, or only
Yeah, I did.
fans.
I did a little bit.
Oh, that
It's
lady.
the Clenny girl. Her
Yeah.
name's Clenny. Yeah, she killed her boyfriend, and she's actually the aggressor. You could tell she's the aggressor. It's a cool case, and Ashley Ann did bring that up, and I did a couple of videos, and I think if we all work together, we could do some amazing content on that.
Yeah, and that one's
I
fixing
really
to go
do.
to trial. At first, they
I
didn't
can
even
actually
arrest
pull it.
her.
I can actually
Strange.
pull a video up right now.
If you
I'll
want
go
to,
ahead and
just to
pull a
give
video up.
everybody an idea. But Strange, they didn't even arrest her. They let her go, and she's
Yeah,
made
for
millions
months.
on the fans only.
Yeah, for months. Yeah, they let her go for months. She had over like 3 million viewers on Instagram, and then her OnlyFans page was blowing up. She was making a shit ton of money, but she couldn't hold herself together. So.
And her parents was just arrested a couple weeks ago because she got the boyfriend's. They got the boyfriend's computer and erased stuff. So they got arrested just a couple weeks ago. It's interesting. I don't want to tell it all because I would like to cover it.
Yeah, no, it's a great case. We should all dive in, and we could definitely do some work with that. So.
I mean, especially if you're wanting to do something else strange, and we could all do it together.
Yeah, I know that the Brian Koberger case is kind of like we're all going on the same stuff, you know. So it's hard to like if people are getting sick of like
visible
every
on
single one of my
Instagram.
videos.
She also has an OnlyFans page. This is a place where her fans can pay her through the app for access to videos and images you will never see on Instagram.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I hit the wrong jam button. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's all right. Yeah, I agree with that. She is an Amber Heard style psycho, 100%. 100%.
In some of her videos, naked and engaged in sexual acts with Courtney. The couple first lived together in Texas before moving to Miami into a super ultra luxurious condo on the water. On April 3rd of this year, Courtney stabbed Christian to death inside that condo. She is claiming self-defense, but prosecutors say she was the aggressor the day she killed Christian. What was really happening in this relationship? Tonight, secret recordings of the couple together. Recordings that will make the Amber Heard Johnny Depp recordings seem tame. We'll take a listen with our experts as we try to gain a deeper understanding of a relationship that ended.
I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. And, you know, you think back to where this nation was when we had that Me Too wave, when we were talking about the relationships between men and women and allegations that were made. And it changed the way we looked at them. And there was a presumption that we believed women, that when they make allegations, they're telling the truth. Then came Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, a case that I call really the Me Too redo, where all of a sudden it wasn't automatic that you would have to believe allegations made by a woman who claims to be a victim of domestic violence. You saw the case play out here on Court TV, our cameras, our microphones inside that courtroom, and you saw that things became a little more nuanced, that it wasn't automatic that you would believe someone just because of their gender, and people would listen to the evidence, the testimony, and try to figure out what was happening. And there became a realization that, hey, wait a minute, men can also be victims of domestic violence. You'll recall in the case of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, there were some recordings that were made. Some of them secret, others I think they knew about. Either way, everyone listened to them, including the jury, and tried to figure out what was going on in Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's relationship. And many came to the conclusion that he was a victim, that she was abusive, that she was manipulative, all of that. And some of that was confirmed by what people heard in those recordings. Very persuasive evidence. Of course, in that case, you also had the testimony of both Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Now, let's talk about the case that we're talking about this hour. Incredibly tragic. Two young people, Christian Obumseli and Courtney Clenny. These two were in a tumultuous relationship as well. They had some money, living a lavish lifestyle down there in South Florida. But the question in this relationship is like, who's hitting who? Who's the aggressor? It's so similar to the question that the jury had to figure out in the Johnny Depp case. But in that case, they had, as I mentioned, the opportunity to hear both sides. Well, in this case, one person is dead. That's Christian Obumseli. Courtney Clenny is the only one who's alive. We know that she stabbed him. She's claiming self-defense. She'll have an opportunity to tell her story, but Christian won't really have an opportunity to tell his story. Or will he? There are recordings, and we're going to play them for you tonight, of the two together. We're going to take a listen to them and try to understand the nature of this relationship. And is it possible that in this relationship, Christian Obumseli was the victim? That Courtney Clenny, the one who's charged with murder, was the abuser? She's going to say the opposite. Her attorney's already claimed the opposite, that she was the victim. But in these recordings, you will hear Courtney Clenny use a racial slur in these arguments with her boyfriend, Christian. How much power will those words have? How about the tone of these recordings? Important, significant evidence, because you're getting to take a trip inside that relationship. You're not just talking about it, you are actually hearing it. So let's take a listen now. This is an altercation, a fight, an argument, whatever you want to call it, between Courtney Clenny and the man that she ends up stabbing to death, Christian Obumseli, her boyfriend. This is inside the condo.
hands and my phone. I need to go home. I need to talk to him. I need my phone.
Cece,
Don't touch me!
What is going on? Like, what are you gonna get this mad at me when I'm apologizing to you?
No, Christian.
Like, you're thinking I'm doing it on
purpose. Drop your high pitch.
Okay, I'm not doing it on purpose.
You told Sarah, you know the right thing to do was to tell me.
Yes, and I am so sorry.
So shut up and let me slap you.
I'm not gonna slap you.
Give me my phone.
You have your phone.
I don't have it anymore. Find it and charge it.
What?
Find it and charge it!
I'm sorry, Courtney.
I don't care. Find it and charge it.
Okay, just stop.
Don't talk to me.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. Oh, man.
Because I'm telling you I'm sorry.
Alright. Find my phone and charge it.
I don't know where your phone is.
Find it.
Okay, you help me find it?
I will!
So what?
Find it!
Why are you screaming, man? Not man, but why?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Not
man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, because I'm a man, huh? Shut the up.
God, she's off the hinge.
Yeah, she's a wild one.
What do you think, AR?
That's a wild woman right there, I'm telling you.
Rock, what do you think?
Is Rock still with us?
I am still here. She
Oh, there
is
you
off
go.
the end. Like, obviously, this has been going on for a while.
What'd you think?
You gotta learn how to walk away, whether you're man or female.
Yeah.
Like we have to learn as a collective whole that laying hands on each other never ends up well for either side of it. I almost look at this girl and watching what's going on and kind of project towards a Jody Arias type. I don't know. I just got that feeling. It's weird.
Oh yeah, and apparently Jody Arias is appealing her conviction, and there's talks. It hasn't manifested yet, but there's talks of giving her a new trial.
I watched that trial, Jody Anders, and Jody's not going anywhere. I'm sorry.
I rode in the transfer bus back and forth from the jail with Jody Arias for a couple of weeks worth of her hearings and a couple of mine.
I followed that case very, very tight.
So what's she like in person, AR?
She's weird.
Arrogant.
Yeah,
very
she
arrogant.
is. And she talks so much. It's unreal. We're on a van where the middle section of the van was for females and it's a cage. And then behind that, along both sides of the back of the van are like benches that the males sit on, cupped to each other. So she's in the cage and I'm in the back with probably 2 or 3 other inmates. And her mouth didn't shut up for the hour-and-a-half drive both ways to and from court. It's like I'm fighting for my life, trying to win my appeal and get my charges knocked down. I don't want to hear you babbling on like that, talking about how's my hair look, my makeup. Dude, we're in jail. We're going to prison. What's it matter? Like, what does it matter what your hair looks like?
She was very
But she
arrogant.
was, yeah. And she would tell us, she'd be like, I'm going home next week. And finally, out of the blue, like I never said anything for the entirety. My wife even said, like, while I sat in Arizona jail in Maricopa County, I don't think I said a word for like a year to anybody. And finally, just out of the blue, I'm like, you dumb brat, you need to just F up. I'm done with you. Like I've been locked up for so long. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear you. And all the guys are like, no, we want to talk to her. And it's like, I don't want to hear it. This is a clown. She is a clown. And she's playing the system. She's such a clown. And
you know who's in the Topeka jail right now? Because we only have one that's women. We got
Who?
Letitia Stouch now. She's caused so much trouble in Colorado. She's actually in Topeka, and it's a horrible prison. I mean, a horrible prison. Right where she belongs. But Letitia Stout, do you know who that is? She's the one from Colorado Springs that killed her stepson and put him in a suitcase, went all the way to Myrtle Beach in Florida, threw him off a bridge in Florida.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I heard
and
about that.
there's another content creator that just literally focuses directly on that case,
Yeah, I was
Melissa
there for the
Jade or
trial.
some.
I was in
Were you?
Colorado Springs and Recovery Addict. I really like him when he does trials because he gets really good pictures. And I was doing some filming for him while I was there. It was pretty cool. But yeah, anyway, that was off the side. Somebody asked you a question. Oh, Ashley is asking you, ARAs, please do a video on Jody Arias' experience.
Yeah, I definitely can. I mean, I have experiences with some really crazy criminals. Like I was on the same yard with Manson for a minute when he actually starved himself and climbed out the cell bars and went down and
How
attacked
was
a
that?
guy on the prison. I went around him enough to really get the perception of what. I'll tell you what, he was a little slick dude. He had manipulative powers, from what I understand. But myself, I didn't deal with him because we were on, just separate aspects of life. He was paying for protection, and I was a part of that protection. So it was like I didn't have.
I heard he was on the PC yard or something.
Well, later as he got older, he was. When he was still young enough to move around and mentally capable, he wasn't on a PC yard. He was on a normal California yard, and he literally starved himself so he could climb in and out of the bars of the prison run. So anytime the guards would leave, he would slip out of his bars and be walking up and down the run of the penitentiary butt ass naked. It's like, there he goes. There's Manson. Great job. But and I've been around just weird. Every yard you go to's got some big name person on it nowadays because the social media and all the craze of crimes. You
Not
get to
only
know
that,
them.
crime's rampant. I said this the other day. Yeah, there's a lot of things I didn't do, like get pregnant in high school, because I really thought my dad would bury me in the backyard 6 foot under, like 6 foot under.
Hmm.
Nowadays, people don't care the consequences. They don't care about them. And I will say the consequences don't seem to be as strict as they was way back in the day. They've really laxed on a lot of stuff. It's
Well, I
maybe not
was
for you,
in.
AR, but for like newer people. I mean, I'm not trying to bring up a fight here, but Black Lives Matter movement. Half of them people didn't
Hmm.
spend any time in jail. None. Zilch.
Yeah. And I grew up with a family that was a very good family. They were humble, they were hardworking, and they were disciplinarian. They believed if you got out of line, we spank you. And it was okay. The way that they were raising their children, I'm the only one that went the way I did. All the other kids became very prominent in what they did,
Hmm.
very educated, great jobs. It was just the start of my life from being taken away at birth, abandoned by my parents, the drug addiction of my parents that led to a bad, birth, and then being in foster care for 8 years. And there was a lot that went into my upbringing that sparked me to go a certain direction. So I get that with a lot of people. I understand the rampantness of crime. My parents were strict. They were good parents. I just bucked and I ran away at 13 and moved all the way across the country with $50 in my pocket that I had taken out of my dad's wallet. And I hitchhiked all the way from the West Coast to New York City. And I was sitting on the street in New York City when couple of people walked up on me and said, "Hey, you want to learn how to do some stuff that will make you some money?" I said, "Let's do it." And then it was on. Life was
Hmm.
now different. So, it's, I
My,
guess I,
go ahead. Sorry.
I understand where some of these criminals become what they are, but then some of them you don't understand. And you kind of look at them. People would look at me and say, "But you came from such a good family." Yeah, but I didn't accept that. Like I broke that bond, not them. I did it. I moved, so
It's
it's
strange you say that because, I've said before my grandpa was attorney general and he was the sheriff 8 times. But at 12, listen, Rock talks a lot. I don't like quiet, I talk a lot. Anyway, at
Mhm.
12, my grandpa took me a lot of places with him. He took me to juvenile lockup, the whole scared straight thing. And then at the end, he told me, if you ever go to jail, don't bother calling me, but I'll know you're there and I'll put you in the worst place there. So I was scared to death. I never even got a speeding ticket until last year, and I'm 55 years old.
Mm,
But
mhm.
I mean, I got in a little trouble. I stole my dog out of the pound. That's another story. But growing up, I never got in trouble because I was scared to death that, yeah, he was going to throw me in jail and just leave me there.
Yeah. I had my dad was military. He was a big, strong boy. I mean, he could put it on you. But I guess I just got so numb and negative that, when he would try to discipline me, I fought back. I learned how to fight. I learned how to be stronger. And then now I regret that. I'm like, damn, I just wish I had learned from my discipline because the things I could have had in life, my parents were going to give me a full ride scholarship to college. My parents would have taken care of me, and made sure that I was good in life. But I turned my back on that and I went my own way. And now I'm learning. Here I am. I'm 46 years old. I don't talk to my own family ever. They won't talk to me. I won't talk to them. Jen and I, her whole family and I rarely talk until this Thanksgiving. I brought her dad out and I stood right before him. I said I was wrong and I apologized and I stuck my hand out and I said, I just hope you can forgive me and we could work forward from this day forward and work on an honest father son relationship. So now we're working on that. So we're excited, and that's the first step I've made towards having family in my life. And now that's great for Jen because now I'm building a bond with her dad, so she's happy as could be. But it's a learning lesson. So I get what you're saying too, of being scared of your dad. At one point I was, and then I just lost that fear, and that's too bad. That's where I kind of went awry and went wrong.
Oh, for sure. Robert, how much time? I noticed people are having to dip out. They got work tomorrow. How much time
Yeah.
left is this video?
The video is 44 minutes, but I
Okay,
could
maybe
find a
we can do
shorter
that
video if
another
you want.
night. Maybe we can do that
Yeah.
another night because I see people saying they got to go to bed. And AR, you're probably tired too. Robert, maybe you can plan a night and we can actually, AR can come back and we can really get into some of this.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to come back and we can dive into that case and you can go over the videos because there's a couple of different videos that are very important.
Yeah.
I've had a
I
long
can
day and you guys can stay. I'm just really tired.
I'm actually a little worn out myself. I gotta get the dogs out, but Robert, let's definitely hook up. I'll send you some links for videos
Yeah.
that go with that case that I've never used that we together can use during the live, and
All right.
we'll break it down and we'll do a good live on it.
Alrighty. I mean, we can schedule it for we can schedule it for possibly Wednesday or Thursday. Well, now Thursday is Strange's video. We could do it Wednesday evening if you want to, AR.
Yeah, I'm open. You just let me know and we'll do it.
Oh, I have one more question because I
Mhm.
Yeah.
don't. My brain's fried. So, strangest things is her thing is tomorrow at 4:20, but
Mhm.
I live in
It's
well, we're
it's
central.
3:20 our time.
No, she's 2 hours ahead of us, or 2 hours
No, she's
behind.
an
As far
hour
as I
ahead of
know.
us. She's an hour ahead of us.
Why did I think
So
it was
it's
two? Okay. Well, people's asking. That's why I'm saying. And I went to her page and it's not scheduled yet. So I wanted to try to give people the right time.
Yeah, what
okay. And
time is it your time right now, Chuck?
10 o'clock,
right now
10:20.
it's
Yeah, so
it's 10:20.
you're 2 hours ahead of me. It's 1:20 my time, so it'd be 3:20 your time.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. I just wanted to make sure people were asking in the chat. So 3:20 Central and then figure it out from there.
Yeah. Hey,
Sounds good.
Rob, I'd like to have yeah, I know we had like a small mod meeting with only you, myself, and Katie earlier, but I want to have an actual mod meeting after this.
Okay, and AR, I'm gonna talk to Sipa, and I am very serious about the classes that you and Strange want to do, because I'll tell you, Dinky did a mental health thing one night, and I think it went over 3 hours, and there was still like 20 people that didn't get to talk. So I know that there's people out there that needs it, and so impressed that you two are willing to do that. We'll see if we
Yeah,
can't get that set up for you too.
it'll be a lot of fun. And just let everybody know, keep an eye out. In about an hour, I have an Idaho 4 video coming out. And then after that, I have a Lily Peters video that will come out tonight, too. So if everybody goes to bed, just make sure you stop in real quick and watch them tomorrow.
Oh, well, Ashley works third shift, Zipper works third shift, so we'll be watching.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right,
Robert,
well,
again,
yeah,
a lot of respect to you, Robert.
Thank you.
I appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to working with you some more.
All right, same here, AR. I'll text you. I'll text you Wednesday right before I go live. Okay.
Sounds good, my man.
All right. You have a good night,
Okay,
AR.
guys, I'm gonna go ahead and drop down. Love you guys, and
Love you too.
I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll get together.
Sounds good. Talk to you soon, Rock Chuck.
All right. You guys have a good night.
You too.
Bye. Yeah, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. We had an awesome panel tonight. Myself, Swamp Rose, Pia, AR Hayes, or I should say, Strange Suspicion. Yeah, we are a very tight knit community here, and the content creators I had on are awesome content creators, and we can only grow from there. I'm getting tired of all the hate in the YouTube streets, and there is a mod meeting right after this live. So, Ashley, Bianca, whoever's modding right now, please meet me in the mod voice chat after this live is over. And I want to thank all my wonderful mods. Yeah, I know it was kind of difficult to control the chat with a dual stream going. Thank you, Sophie. I know you guys did your best tonight, patrolling the chat, and I know it was hard with a dual stream. But I will be live again. And I'll be live again Wednesday evening with AR Hayes, and we'll be going over the OnlyFans case. Much love to my mods, and thank you so very much for being my mods. You guys are wonderful. And can someone get J Lord out of the chat, please? Hope, get J Lord out of the chat. I'm sorry. Hey, can someone go back and unblock Data Naya?